And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. Thank y'all for joining. We got a whole lot to talk about. There's a whole lot happening all over the internets, all over the mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and we're going to get into it. Shout out to Joe Manchin from my birthplace, West Virginia. Not single-handedly, but I guess single-handedly frustrating the Democratic Party, voting with most all other Republicans, or at least let's just say he will vote, to not vote for the Build Back Better program. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, this truck driver accident is really crazy. 110 years in the penitentiary, not quite sure that's the appropriate punishment for what happened. We'll talk about that as well. Also, you have two judges removed. Well, one suspended and then one removed from the bench in different parts of the country. I think one was in Louisiana and the other in Alabama. We'll talk about that as well. Also, Candace Owens interviewed President Trump, and she asked him about the vax and his opinion about the mandates and whatnot. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And shout out to the young man out there in Ohio who did a citizen's arrest on a purse snatcher. Fantastic. So we'll talk about that as well. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. So if you enjoy what you have heard thus far, if you enjoy the show in general, if you enjoy my content, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Also, if you're not subscribed yet for whatever the reason may be, I don't know why, but go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now as you're watching. If you're listening to me on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc., please give me a 5-star rating or review, whatever you can. I most certainly appreciate it. That'll help me out tremendously. And if you don't know, this will be available on those aforementioned platforms right around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So check me out there. If you want to hear the replay, but you don't want to eat up all your bandwidth and, have the data on your phone just go out of control, go to the audio only option, Apple, iTunes, etc. Again, links in the box. And shout out to all the sponsors. Of course, we have the best source of news and information anywhere on the internets, patriotpost.us. They got all the latest op-eds, all the latest actual real news. They got cartoons, memes. They got everything you want over at patriotpost.us, the best website on the internets. Check them out in the description box below. Also, you have bhedesigns.com. They make these beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me. I say it every time, but every day I get an email. Hey, ABL, where are those flags at? Can I get a flag? Can I get the hookup on the flag? Well, there you have it, bhedesigns.com. Links in the box. Those flags that are behind me, you can get those or your very own, customize or whatever you want. Links in the box. Or if you're listening to me on the audio streaming, there should be some kind of description section somewhere. All these links will be there. And of course, shout out to myself. Shout out to my website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. If you want my email, my snail mail, my social media accounts, including my Twitter, my Facebook, my Instagram, all that's on my website on the contact page. And on the very front page, you have articles for each video that I record. I write all the articles myself, 100% writing, editing, proofreading. So it might be kind of janky sometimes, but don't worry about that because, one man band. But anyway, the articles have links in the bottom for sources. So all my information that I get that I cite as factual, I have sources to back it up. From left, right, independent, whatever kind of media you want. Again, AnthonyBLogan.com. And of course, ABLmerch.com for all your hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more. I'll be periodically updating it with new merch. If you guys have any merch ideas, merch requests, you can send me email at contact@anthonyblogan.com. And if you've forgotten the email, there's the email on my website on anthonyblogan.com on the contact page. Email, snail mail, all that's right there. But anyway, ablmerch.com, check it out. Now, where shall we begin? Where shall we begin? There's a whole lot happening. I'm not even really sure where to start. Let's talk about Joe Manchin first and foremost, because there's quite a few things I could lead with. There's things I could say at the very end. Let's talk about Joe Manchin first and foremost. Now, I know I did a video about this earlier, but I'm going to kind of expand on it. Now, you guys may or may not know me. I was born in Charleston, West Virginia. My family, a lot of them on both sides of the family now, mom and dad side of the family, they grew up in West Virginia. Some of them still there. Both of my grandmothers knew each other growing up as kids. Okay, they were friends as little kids. Both my mom's mom and my dad's mom were friends as little kids. So we go way, way, way back to like 1800s or before. Ever since there was anybody black in Kanawha County, that is where my family was at. Also, like, we got family in Greenbrier County. We got family in like Beckley, Bluefield, everywhere, all over the state in West Virginia. If there's anybody black in West Virginia, I might be related to them. Put it to you like that. It's a small state, 1.8 million people, but a beautiful state, a beautiful place, some of the best views. You got hunting, fishing, skiing, whatever you want. You got dog tracks, casinos, whatever you want. They got it in Dub V. West by God, almost heaven. Shout out to West Virginia, 100%. Okay, if my dad was still here, he would be highly, 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 highly upset at people like Bette Midler and whatnot for their particular opinions about West Virginia. And if you have not seen the particular tweet from Bette Midler, and the reason why Bette Midler said what she said is because she was mad at Joe Manchin, right? Because Joe Manchin spiked the whole Build Back Better kerfuffle, right? So let's put it on the screen right quick. Let's put it on the screen to see what she said, because she's mad at Joe Manchin. You know, and it's crazy to attack an entire state because you're mad at one guy. Attack that one guy, not the entire state, right? You understand? It's like you have 50 other senators that voted against Build Back Better, or that will vote, pardon me, because the vote's not happened yet. But 50 other senators will vote against Build Back Better, so why don't you attack their states? But anyway, so here's what Bette Midler said. What hashtag Joe Manchin, who represents population swallowed in Brooklyn, has done to the rest of America who wants to move forward, not backward, like his state, is horrible. So he's saying that West Virginia is backward, and he wants to have the rest of the country like his state. Rather than going forward, they're backward. He sold us out. He wants us all to be just like his state, West Virginia, poor, illiterate, and strung out. Now, people like stuff like this is not helping your case. You can't insult the man and insult his people to try and get anything accomplished, right? And there was quite a few things in here. Like the premise behind this tweet is to say that West Virginia is like the worst place in the country and it sucks and everybody's strung out on drugs and they're poor and illiterate. They can't read, all this and that. Well, that's not even the reality. Yes, of course, West Virginia does have problems. Everybody knows it. But, I mean, let's look at it for real. There are plenty of other states that have a much higher illiteracy rate than West Virginia, like California and New York and Texas and Florida. Now, the question is why? Why is there a higher illiteracy rate in those states? Is it because they're large population-wise? Not necessarily. The reason why is because of all the illegal aliens, people that don't speak English at all. That's going on, okay? How many people in your particular neck of the woods, if you live in California, speak English all the time? When I was in LA last year filming for Jubilee on that Black Conservative episode, and that was a great episode, by the way. Shout out to everybody that was on that episode. Lady Cage as well. But anyway, when I was in Los Angeles, I got an Uber. And by the way, I hated Los Angeles, didn't like it. I think part of it was because it was raining and kind of cold, but I wasn't impressed. Way overcrowded. It was looking like Mexico. But anyway, my Uber driver pulls up. He speaks no English at all. Not even trying. He's like grunting at me. Okay, because I didn't really know where to stand to get the Uber, because it's so much stuff going on. I didn't know what was happening. He was kind of like grunting at me. He called me and was not speaking no English at all. Like, hey, front hotel. There's a lot of that going on in these parts of the country. You don't have that problem in West Virginia. You just don't have it. So this whole thing is just kind of crazy. And then also, about being poor. Well, here's a question for a Bette Midler. Do you think that Build Back Better would help West Virginia's poverty problem? What is a big reason why the state is poor and has continued to plunge down the rabbit hole of poverty? Is because they're killing jobs, they're killing the coal industry, and people like Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and whatnot have publicly stated that they are hostile against the coal industry, the fossil fuel industry. As a matter of fact, hold on. Let's watch this gem from back in 2016 when Hillary Clinton was on the campaign trail. This kind of really it encapsulates why Joe Manchin could not vote for Build Back Better, because Manchin was like, look, I got to take it home to West Virginia and I got to explain it to them. I have to explain why I voted for Build Back Better. So if they're coming out here and saying stuff like what you're going to see in the moment, how can I rationalize that with my constituents? Okay. It's not even about getting elected 100% of, it's not just about getting elected. It's about doing what's right for your constituency, period, Democrat or no Democrat. So let's check it out here. Let's get a little bit of sound. And this is back in 2016 when she was trying to run for president. That we dodged a bullet. I'm talking about Matrix style. Matrix bullet. We dodged for sure.
The only candidate which has a policy about how to bring economic opportunity using clean, renewable energy as the key into coal country, because we're going to put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business. Right
now, she said this in Columbus, Ohio, which is like right there. That's coal country. I got family out in Columbus as well. That's not far from West Virginia. That's like hop, skip, and a jump, an hour, 2 hours, or whatever. It's not far away at all. Okay, that's right there. Southern Ohio, like central Southern Ohio is right there. All in the same region. Columbus, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Ohio, all right there. Kanawha County, Huntington, it's all the same. Ironton and stuff like that, and also like Eastern Kentucky. So why would you say something like this in Columbus, Ohio? Why would you say that? And then she's talking about, we won't forget about them. Like, what you mean not going to forget about them? I mean, what you said right there makes it seem like you're going to forget about them. Okay, if my entire state's economy had been traditionally based on coal, and you're talking about taking coal away, and I don't see any other jobs popping up, I don't see a bunch of factories and whatnot just popping up, then what are we doing? You go to Kanawha County, that's known as Chemical Valley, right? Remember a few years back they had that spill in the water? That was crazy. I got family up there. They were saying for a while you had to use bottled water to take showers. But anyway, I mean, a lot of your industrial type stuff is right there. So if you're going to kill coal and kill any kind of fossil fuel industry, you're going to be an environmental type person. I mean, so what am I going to do now? What shall I do? Okay, maybe there's lumber up there in the mountains, maybe, but a lot of it is coal. So without coal, and you want to crack down on environmentalism, you're going to leave me just pretty much high and dry. I have to leave the state to do something else. I got to join the military, or I got to go to Ohio or Michigan or Pennsylvania or somewhere trying to make a living. I have to leave the state. Therefore, further dwindling the population is already small and it's already been dwindling for a long time. Right now, let me see if I can find the particular, hold on. Oh, remember the whole thing that Joe Biden said about, this right here had to have been probably the biggest gaffe that I've seen in a long time. This was a huge gaffe, right? So check it out. Now, remember this? Biden tells coal miners to learn to code. Do you remember that? This is 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2019, he said that on the campaign trail. Now, you see this stock picture right here? And for you guys that can't see it, there's an older white man in a hard hat next to some kind of container. And he's just like, has this concerned look on his face. Like, you want to tell me I'm like 55 years old already to learn the code? I mean, you got guys that are in the industry, in the IT field, that have a hard time keeping up with the new ways that things are done. So how you going to tell this man that's worked his whole life sacrificed years of his life, his health and everything to, support his wife and his kids, to now, oh no, your job is gone, but it's fine because you can learn how to code. You can get a brand new job. The craziest thing, and what's funny, is that they want to rely on stuff like fracking, which is much more environmentally destructive. And then they want to talk about, green energy. And really, as I said before, green energy ain't nothing but a grift. That's a big time grift. That's a way for them to siphon tax money from the American taxpayer. That means you. Build Back Better, what are they talking about? 5.8, 6.8 trillion. It doesn't even really matter how many trillions they're talking about spending. All that we know is that they're going to print and spend the money, which is going to create more inflation. How is that going to help poverty? Bette Midler, going back to her quote, how is that going to help poverty when you create inflation? All that's going to do is make your dollar less valuable. So you want to kill my jobs. You want to interfere with education with all this LGBTQ elemental P stuff. You want to create inflation. So if I don't have a job, my money is worth even less than the little bit I have. I'm out here trying to do whatever I can to make a living. You're making it harder on me to make a living and to be able to buy anything with my money. So it's like, what's going on? The literacy thing is not even the issue really in Dope V. It's worse in states that got all these illegal aliens roaming around. And anything about pills really kind of hit close to home because, the drugs thing, the strung out thing is a problem in West Virginia. Like, especially like Southern West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio is really bad. Tennessee, like that whole Southern Appalachian corridor, really it's a problem all over the country, all up and down the mountains and all over, but really bad in West Virginia and other parts. I'll put up a map to show you guys how bad it is. It's really bad. But see, they're talking about in the Build Back Better thing, they're going to reduce the cost of drug prices. Now, my question is, how is that going to help the pill crisis? That's what it is. Benzo, Xanax. How is that going to help the pill crisis in West Virginia? A lot of these pills come from so-called doctors, these pill mills and whatnot, just trying to make a quick buck, giving these pills out just willy-nilly. Okay, a lot of big pharma just getting people addicted on these drugs, targeting Appalachia because they know there's not a whole lot of industry going on. People are bored up there. So what else you going to do but get high on some pills? That's what's going on. It's an epidemic. This is part of the reason why I'm against drugs, because I understand how people are targeted, not just from the cartels, not just from the gangs, the black gangs, the white gangs, the Hispanic gangs, but also Big Pharma. Big Pharma is the biggest gang trying to get you hooked on their drugs, right? It's a big money machine. We see what's going on right now with the vax, how they're trying to mandate you take this vax so they can print money from the federal government. That's the whole thing. They want it to be federal law, so by law, you must take their thing. That's a gravy contract, ain't it? Yeah, that's a gravy contract. I mean, what better thing? The law states that you must take our vax, specifically ours. I mean, it's a great payoff. You've been supporting these politicians. You've been supporting these TV stations, these media networks. What better payoff than to have the federales enforce a mandate that you fulfill? You can just print money. You're Jerome Powell at that point, but I digress. So here is the map of, the Appalachian here's a whole map of the United States where all the pills are a problem. Now, in the darker areas, it's really bad. You can see it's pretty bad in Northern California as well. Okay, Southern Oregon and on the coast, Seattle. I think that's Seattle right there at the very top left of the map. Okay, it's bad in Phoenix, Maricopa County is really bad right there. Colorado, Denver, Colorado is pretty bad. Utah, but not really. But really, look over here on the right-hand side of the map. It's really, really, really bad over there. That is West Virginia, Southern Appalachia, that region right there. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Okay, you can see it. You can see, like, if you're not good with maps, I can tell you what these states are. You have Ohio right there where my cursor is. And you can see once you get to the southern part, it gets a little darker. And then West Virginia right here. Canal County is like right there. So you got Fayette, Boone, all of that down there, down by Bluefield, Beckley, it gets real, real bad. And then eastern part of Kentucky, it gets bad. And then Tennessee, all up and down the Appalachian region, it gets bad. Clarksville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, and then even in like parts of northern Georgia. But really, this area right here is really bad. And that's just pills. It's strictly pills, not just drugs, but pills. Okay, fentanyl's a whole different story, but it's also part of Big Pharma. If you guys didn't know, fentanyl is a Big Pharma creation, a synthetic opioid. It's like a fake heroin, but much more potent for quote unquote severe pain management. But really, it ain't nothing but a synthetic opiate they can just create in the lab. Okay, and a lot of these a lot of the cartels, they've shifted away from just making straight heroin to now they're just working on fentanyl and meth. They become chemists. So people talking about legalizing drugs. Well, the problem is illegal drugs, not the illegal drugs. The problem is illegal drugs. There's 100,000 opioid deaths in the USA, well, overdose deaths in the USA this year. 100,000 overdose opioid deaths in the US this year. Out of that, 65,000 come from synthetic opioids, aka fentanyl. 100,000. And if you just let that just get out of control, it'll spiral. The southern border's wide open. They come straight from the southern border, from China originally, through Mexico, up, straight up, into like Midwest, Chicago, Detroit, etc. And then they go right there to West Virginia. Matter of fact, put the map back up so you can kind of see what I'm talking about geographically. Because I know like a lot of where these drugs are coming from. So you have Michigan is right here, right? And Detroit, I would say, is like right up in there. I'm not really sure. But anyway, just go straight down. It's a straight shot. Cross Ohio, and you can pollute Ohio with your drugs. Indiana as well, pollute all of that, and then go straight right here to Huntington and spread it from there. That's what's going on. So you're talking about lowering the drug prices. What you going to do about the opioid epidemic, though? I mean, it's silly. At the end of the day, all you're going to do is spend trillions of dollars, print cash, and then for what? Why? West Virginians understand that, and people like Bette Miller just want to attack West Virginia because they don't like what Joe Manchin did. And they're talking about racism and stuff like that. I think it was this guy named Jamal Bowman talking about Joe Manchin is a racist. Where is the racism? I mean, it's not even there. It's just not reality. Okay, he's doing what's best for his constituents. And what he did was correct. 100%. I'm going to try to find that clip from your man, Jamal Bowman. Oh, here it is. Here it is. All righty. So let's put it on the screen right quick. All right. Okay, Detroit, it was a little bit lower. I got it. Well, it makes even more sense. So it's closer to Ohio. You can go straight right there, down through Ohio to West Virginia, and then you're good. Okay. Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. Baracho 357 says, sitting right in the heart of that red zone, 100% ABL. Doctors, worse than any cartel around here. Nothing but zombies and daywalkers around here. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that's the problem is Big Pharma collaborating with doctors and whatnot, getting you hooked. Because what better way to sell their product, right? You have a consumer that must have it, and that will do whatever they can to get your product. That's Big Pharma. That's why I'm against drugs, because I understand what it's all about, just trying to get people hooked. And then the thing about it is once you're hooked on the drug, you become non-productive. You are a non-factor in society. That's what they want. They don't want you to go out here and be innovative and anything like that. They want to control everything. They want to be the enemy. They'll have their kids go to the nice private schools, and they won't be anywhere around drugs at all. You think the Sacklers, people like that, want their kids on drugs? Not at all. Not at all. Because they already know what it is. Their kids are going to be in the best schools, no drugs, and they're going to be your leaders. They're going to be the elites. And they want us to be the slave class, depending upon them for everything. Depending upon them for the next hit of the synthetic opioid. Depending upon them for the next ability to leave your house, the Vax Pass, and depending upon them for entertainment, income, everything. That's why the federale should not be so overbearing in your life. Because when they're overbearing, you'll be totally shocked at what they can do with your life. you have no control over your life anymore. You become a slave to them. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not a fan of slavery. We tried that and it wasn't too good. Let's not have that happen again. But I will go ahead and digress. I'm getting triggered right now. Word of the state. That's right, Chad. 100%. We don't want to do that. So here is Jamal Bowman. I've not even seen this clip yet, but I know that I'm going to get triggered again. So let's go ahead and play it. I think Jamal Bowman is a New York House rep. He's like a male squad member, literally, because I think he's part of brand new Congress and that whole little AOC and Rashida Tlaib type sphere, if that makes any sense.
This bill disproportionately supports people of color. It supports people of color. It supports women. It supports children. It supports those who are poor and lifts them out of poverty. Why wouldn't Manchin want to support that when this would benefit West Virginia tremendously?
No, it wouldn't, because I'm going to tell you something about West Virginia. There's plenty of welfare programs that exist right now, and people are on them in West Virginia. They're on them. There's food stamps, all of that in West Virginia. It's not helped. It's not helped because the issue is there's a lack of economy. That is what you need to have is economy. If you don't have economy, if you don't have a way to really, like if they're talking about right now are irrelevant. You're talking about more government dependence. That's not what we need. We need the ability to be productive. And you can't be productive when you on drugs and you don't have coal and you don't have any kind of real industry. So, no.
It's tremendously frustrating for me as a black man in America because once again, it's an example of Joe Manchin as a white man showing that he doesn't care about black people.
So I guess if you're black, you need to have government like if you're black, you need government dependence to survive, right? That's what we're talking about here. Okay. It's the dumbest thing in the world. You know, my parents came from West Virginia. You know, my mom grew up there, born and raised there. My dad born there, grew up in Roanoke, went back and forth to West Virginia. They came down here from West Virginia to Virginia in a single wide trailer, literally off the mountain. She'll be coming around. That was us in a trailer. When my parents were together, my dad worked. Mom was a stay-at-home mom. When they split up, my mom always worked at the same job since the 80s. Just retired recently, 30-something years of the same job. Never no welfare programs or nothing like that. She started making like $4 an hour or something crazy. It was like, we come from like actual real poverty. We understand how to make something work here. The government does not truly help you. Not all the time. Sometimes you have some great story or some guy or somebody, you know, powerful, super single mom coming through and making something out of nothing with the help of the government. But generally what happens, as I said before, it keeps people happy and content in poverty. Why do anything more than what I'm doing right now if I'm able to live? Yeah, I may live in a roach and rat infested mess, but so what? I got the latest hair weave. I got the iPhone 45. I'm good. I'm straight. So what? I got all these bad things happening. So what? Somebody got murdered last night outside my house. I'm still good. I can still eat, do whatever I want. I'm happy. The government dependence does not help you the majority of the time. 99.9% of the time, it doesn't help you at all. So why do this?
He doesn't care about Latinos. He doesn't care about immigrants. He doesn't care about...
Hold on. Let's word it back right quick. You hear that? Latinos? That was funny.
Man showing that he doesn't care about black people. He doesn't care about Latinos. He doesn't care about immigrants. He doesn't care about women. And he doesn't care about the poor. He is a millionaire and he has the privilege to kick the can down the road and not vote for this bill while the people in my district are suffering. This bill.
You know what? I mean, okay, where you at? You in New York? Why are they suffering? What's going on? Let's get to the bottom of the reason why they're suffering. In West Virginia, we know what's going on in West Virginia. It's not like the industry. They're closing the coal mines. There's not a whole lot going on. So why are they suffering in New York City where you at? What's happening there that's making that be their reality? The Build Back Better bill ain't going to help them. So figure out a way to help them in a different way that makes more sense. But yeah, shout out to him. Typical Democratic Party mouthpiece, a nut. But hey, it is what it is. And you guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. Please give the video a thumbs up if you have not already. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please do so. That'll help me out tremendously as well. But we got a whole lot more going on here. And okay, so the truck driver accident. Have you guys seen that whole thing with the truck driver? Matter of fact, hold on. Before we get to the truck driver, I don't want to be too heavy. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a positive story. Now, this happened in Ohio. I'm not exactly sure where. Hold on. I know that there's probably, I think I have it written down here. Give me a second. This is going to be a feel-good story in just one moment. So this was in, hold on. This is somewhere in, Lemon Township in Ohio and Butler County. So shout out to you guys in Butler County. Let me see where that is exactly to give you guys a little bit of a geographic. Oh, it's like by Cincinnati. So shout out to you guys in the Cincinnati area. All right. But Butler County, Cincinnati, that area right by Indiana as well. So a man purse snatched an 87-year-old woman in the store in the Kroger. He purse snatched her, and then here comes another man to the rescue. Now, let's put it on the screen right quick. Okay. Christian Miranda, nice try with your different language. Take that, though. Anyway, so here we go. So the headline that I put on it is, man beats up purse snatcher, sheriff gives him an award. This is on my Instagram. Check it out, instagram.com/Anthony B. Logan. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN. Let me see if I can, hold on one second. Let's make sure that does right. And, all right, there we go. That's better. That's better. He didn't really beat him up necessarily. It was just kind of a little scuffle, right? Just a little scuffle. So there's no sound right here. I'm just playing the video. And as you can see, the accident of the Kroger, or the running out of the Kroger, and the guy that was snatching the purse, like 57 years old. So not a very young man. And the guy that captured him was 27 years old. So that's, an obvious difference right there in youth and speed and whatnot. But the purse snatcher was white and the guy that captured him was black. So they run out the store. The purse falls to the ground. He, kind of cocks back, hits him one good time, just a little soften him up, stomped him. He's not really stomping him right here. The guy's like holding on to his ankle to try and prevent him from, beating him up, I guess. He's holding him right here because it's like, okay, we got to get the authorities. What's going on? The guy's trying to resist. He's wrestling him down. He's not beating him up bad, but the guy was able to stop him. They got the purse back to the elderly lady. Now, here comes the part where the sheriff comes in and gives him the award.
Everybody in that store. He came out the store because you were chasing him and you were on him.
Yeah.
And he was running as fast as he could.
Yeah, he was.
And he's probably never ran that fast in his life.
No.
And he's probably not appreciated the police showing up that quick in his life, which we didn't get there real quick, winky wink. You took and made what we call a citizen's arrest. And you make us very, very proud. Everybody, just not here, but everybody in the country, man.
Yeah.
And we're proud of you, and I mean that. And thank you for what you've done.
So hold on to that right there, and they can get you a little picture of that.
Come right on over
Proud
there,
of you, man.
You guys are right in there. Is that a picture or what, folks?
Great picture. So, hey, just be a regular person. You see something crazy like that. You see this lady right here getting purse snatched by some dude. Nah, go ahead and get that back, man. Like back in the day, you used to be able to do stuff like that. And I'm glad that this is something that is being celebrated. I'm seeing some guys talking about, he shouldn't have hit him on the ground. He beat him up too much. I mean, come on. I done seen guys get beat up worse than that, and nobody really cared. You snatching the purse from an old lady, man, you like the scum of the earth, man. The scum of the earth. It's like, look, if you got some kind of problem you want to steal, all right, steal something from the store. I'm not saying that's right, but that is better than trying to snatch a purse from an old lady. I mean, come on. She probably on the fixed income out there in Ohio. It's like, leave her alone, man. Don't touch an old lady. So yeah, shout out to him. The purse snatcher didn't get beat up too much. Just soften up a little bit. Couple little punches and whatnot, and it was all good. And this was a citizen's arrest. You can do that depending upon the situation, and it was all good. The sheriff was on board, gave him an award, and then that's how you get her done. We need more of this going on, okay? They're talking about defund the police, all this, that, and the third. Well, you wouldn't need the police so much if people were able to police themselves, if they didn't do dumb things like purse snatch an old lady, 87 years old. I mean, come on, man. That's crazy. And you see that kind of stuff happen all the time. You got these guys, these weak guys, they want to go out there and assault little kids, old ladies. The worst of the worst. When those guys go to jail, when they go to the penitentiary, it's a wrap, man. It is not end too well. It's usually some type of severe punishment right when they get to the door, because even among some scum, like, you got to be even worse scum to do something like that. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, a little tenderizing. That's all you need. Just a little teeny bit, and it's all good. It is all to the good. Now, we got a few more stories going on here. Let me see if I can find something that I want to show you guys. And thank you again for being here. Definitely appreciate you. Let me go back to my Twitter right quick and pull something up. Hold on. Where was I at last? Oh, yeah, the truck driver accident. I wanted to get into that. Now, have you guys seen that accident? I would play it right here. Well, I would play some of the after footage, but I don't want to get this stream striked. But there was an accident back in 2019 with a truck driver in Colorado. Now, the truck driver was coming down from the very mountainous area into Denver, basically. I think it's called Lakewood, which is Denver, essentially. It's just not necessarily Denver Incorporated, but it's right there. And if you guys never seen the geography of Denver, I'll put it up right quick so you can kind of understand what's going on. In case you don't know, okay, I'm a big geography guy. This is something I like a lot. But I want to show you guys kind of, what's going on. Now, let's put it on the screen right quick. Hold on 1 second. Now, let's do, so you guys can see how on the left-hand side of the screen, it's just mountains, 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 right? And these peaks get very high. You got all your skiing and whatnot up there. You might have peaks that are like 11,000 feet, very high. Now, Denver itself is still pretty high up. It's the Mile High City, right? Like 5,000 or more feet up above sea level. But it's not mountainous like the area right to the left, okay? You see how it is. It's like a sharp delineation. If you see it from an airplane, it's crazy because it's a really big ridge. You see how big that is? It's like completely kind of flat and then just straight Rocky Mountains, all right? But anyway, so the person was coming down, I think that's I-70, so that's like right there. So they were coming down here, and if you ever been in mountainous driving, what happens is that when you're coming downhill, it's steep, and if your brakes ain't right, you're just going to roll and be unstoppable. If you're in a truck especially, this can be very dangerous because you got heavy cargo. He had a bunch of lumber, like cut lumber, 2x4s and stuff like that in his load. I ain't talking about like logs, just raw logs where you could see the logs. I'm talking about he had a rig where he had lumber covered up. But the point is that it's a heavy load, and you're an 18-wheeler, you're a big vehicle already. So if you don't have brakes on the mountain like this, coming down, like you going from like 7,200, 8,200 to like 5,000 in a matter of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes with a steep grade. I think it's like a 6-7% grade for some miles. You're just going to roll and roll and roll. Normally, if your brakes fail and you on flat land, you'll just stop at a certain point if you're not accelerating your vehicle. You pull over or you put your hazard lights on, you'll just stop because you don't have any momentum on flat land. Or if you're going uphill, you'll stop. But if you're going downhill, it's a wrap. And apparently his truck, the brakes got hot, so they weren't working. And probably the engine brake, that didn't work as well. So he's out of control. He's just speeding out of control. And he eventually crashes, and that causes an accident where you had 4 people that died who were driving their cars just in rush hour traffic in Denver. You had 4 deaths. Okay. And it happened like right around here where the mountainous area ends. You understand? So the driver was a Cuban legal immigrant. And I think his company that he worked for was in Texas. I'm not sure I don't think it was his company. It was a small company in Texas he worked for. It was like 4 or 5 drivers in the company. And he worked for the company out of Texas, taking loads back and forth up there in Colorado, right? But anyway, so the problem was there's a few issues here. First of all, he could have pled guilty rather than getting 110 years in the penitentiary, which is what he got. Unfortunately, he could have pled guilty and got 10 years just straight away. And he probably would have been out in 5. But he was like, nah, I don't want to do that because I didn't do anything. It was an accident. And I understand where he's coming from, but I mean, you kind of in a bad situation because if you don't plea and take your chances with the jury trial and get found guilty, now you got mandatory minimums and all types of stuff, which is why you got 110 years. The judge didn't really want to do that, but since he was found guilty by the jury, he had no choice because you got mandatory minimums. So he got 110 years, but he could have pled to 10. Maybe you out in 5 years. He's like, nope, don't want to do that. I didn't do anything. I understand, but at the same time, it's like, what can you do? He wanted to plea. He wanted to admit to having a traffic violation, basically saying I didn't maintain my lane. I was speeding, all this and that and the third. But I think the speeding going 85 into 45 is because his brakes failed and he couldn't stop himself from speeding because, I mean, you're going downhill, you got momentum, no brakes. What are you going to do? Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is he passed runaway truck ramps. Okay. Now, the problem is if you are being trained in Texas, do you even know what a runaway truck is? Truck ramp. Do you guys know what that is? A runaway truck ramp? See, me being from West Virginia originally and driving there a lot, I know what a runaway truck ramp is. I've seen them all the time as a kid. As a matter of fact, I remember one time me and my mom were going out to West Virginia from Virginia, and she got tired and took one of those ramps a little bit. She didn't go all the way up the ramp, but she kind of took the ramp because she got tired. We went kind of put a little bit. It was like gravel and stuff on the to slow you down to prevent from crashing. So yeah, that happened. But normally you don't know what's going on. Now I'm gonna zoom out here. So here are the mountains you see in Denver, right? Mountains everywhere, Rocky Mountains. It's a whole lot of mountains in Colorado, right there by Denver. Once you zoom out and you go down to Texas, it's nothing. It's no mountains at all. It's very few. You got little hills and stuff right there, but that's pretty much it. It's not mountainous. Now over here to like, if you go to El Paso, in this area, you got some mountainous stuff, but people don't go over there. El Paso's like right there. Over here is nothing, essentially. Okay. That's basically Mexico. Don't nobody go over there. You probably over here like San Antonio, Austin, Houston, Dallas, etc. Ain't no mountains. It's flat land. So if you're training over there, you have no idea what a runaway ramp is, but I do. A lot of you guys don't. I'm gonna show you guys a runaway ramp in case you haven't seen it. Okay, they may look kind of scary, but they could save a lot of people's lives. Now, here is the runaway ramp. Let me zoom in a little, zoom properly here. So you see how they work? If you're going downhill, like let's say, for example, you're going downhill, something like this, and you can't stop, you're going out of control, just get over to your right-hand side, get all the way over, and then go up that ramp. You'll eventually stop because you're going up rather than down. And you're not accelerating anymore, so you'll stop. Now, sometimes guys are going so fast and they can't stop. They go all the way to the top. My uncle back in West Virginia did this one time. He went all the way to the top of the ramp in the 18-wheeler and was like dangling like this, teetering on the edge of the truck ramp. Very scary, but they work. They're not normally used a lot, but they do get used. Okay. But the driver had not one, not two, but 3 chances to go up a runaway truck ramp and didn't do it. Now, I don't know why he didn't do it. Maybe he didn't know what it was. If he didn't know what it was, then how can you blame him for the accident? It was an accident. His brakes failed. He didn't know how to stop his truck. He tried to avoid it, but he couldn't. If he did not go on the runaway ramp because he was scared or some other reason, then you got to say, all right, that's your fault. You knew how to get on the ramp. You passed up 3 chances to do it, so that's your fault. But if not, how can you blame him? I'm not really sure. Right? Matter of fact, hold on. There might be a video. There might be a video of the ramp being used. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. And it's scary to watch, but I've seen these ramps get used before on the road. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's go ahead and watch this right quick. This is something from, what's this? 9 News. I'm not sure what that is. Some local news, probably like Colorado or something like that. So check it out. So you see how big the ramp is, right? You're coming downhill and you want to kind of a curve. That's crazy. That's scary right there. So you see the truck already over there. The brakes are smoking. It can't stop. If you see that on the road, if you see a truck that's going a little bit too fast and the brakes are, you see smoke coming from the tires, just get away. Just get away because you don't want to be around them. They can't stop. Now he's going toward the ramp. You see it right there. Now watch how scary that is when he hits the ramp. And then he's going up. And he's not going to be able to stop for a while. All the way up the ramp. All the way up. Almost to the very top. From the bottom. Okay, and it takes days sometimes to get you off the ramp because you can't just go back down, really. What happens is they come from the top and get you a lot of times. They come from the top. There's like access roads that go there. So they come from the top and pull you up over the top, and then you go back down. That's kind of how that goes. Okay. It's all new to you? Exactly. Now the question is, how does a trucker not know about runaway truck ramps? How do you not know how your truck works? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a CDL holder myself. Maybe you guys that are CDL holders can let me know what's going on and set me straight. But a lot of people do not know what those are. But I see them all the time. I see them out here where I live, and I've seen them in West Virginia throughout my entire life going up there. That's just normal to me. But if you don't live in the mountainous area, how would you know that? If you're coming from Cuba and then you go to Texas, how would you know about that? Unless you were taught that. And if you were taught that, then if you didn't take them, then that's your fault, in my opinion. Okay. Yeah. Oh, now there's a ramp here in Tennessee. There's a mountain called Mount Eagle. If you guys know about Mount Eagle, that's crazy. Now, when I go to Nashville, there's this area called Mount Eagle, not Mount Eagle, but Mont, M-O-N-T, Eagle. And it's like where the Cumberland Plateau begins. If you're coming from Chattanooga, you got to go up the mountain. And it's pretty easy. It's an easy mountain to go up. It's steep, but it's easy. If you got a truck, it's a breeze. Now, coming down the mountain is a different story because that thing is really steep. They got signs talking about, 6% grade going down for like 4 miles. It's runaway ramps on the mountain. And they fixed it because at one point it was a 9% grade. Now, the grade refers to how different it is from the horizontal, from the horizontal. It's like the slope from the horizontal. So rather than just being a 0 degree flat, it's 9. That's a big difference when you're going down that for a long period of time. For like 8, 9, 10 miles, 9% grade, that's very dangerous. That probably shouldn't even be legal in the U.S. having a grade that big for a long time. So they fixed it to like a 6% grade for 4.5 miles, which is still pretty crazy. put it to you like this. If you guys don't understand about mountains and stuff, I tested it one time I had a RAV4 at the time. I was at the top of the hill or top of the mountain, whatever, going 0 miles an hour. I just rolled down with no acceleration. I was like 85 in 3 seconds. I mean, it's real quick. And if you don't brake properly, or you're going to crash. You're going to crash for sure. Because you got to turn at a certain point, and if you're not controlling your speed while you turn, you're going to flip. And if you're a truck and you don't have your brakes in order, you're going to run away and crash or go on the ramp. But anyway, a little bit of lesson for you guys that don't know. And if you guys do know, you know I'm telling the truth. So I don't know what happens to the truck driver. I mean, he got 118 years. I saw it was a boycott from truck drivers in Colorado after the verdict, because it's like, how can you blame this man? It was an accident. He didn't do it on purpose. He was not drunk. He was not high. No prior traffic record. No nothing. He was 100% clean. Okay. He did a analysis of his body right afterwards to see if he was on drugs or drinking. Nothing was going on. He was 100% clean. It was an accident, unless he did not take the ramps when he should have, if he knew it. That's the only reason. All right. Let me see. Keith says CDL courses only teach for the test. Good companies will put the new guy with a trainer to be sure he knows his stuff. Okay. I see. I mean, it makes sense, especially mountain driving. You know, that's a whole skill in itself. If you're not really ready for it, it can be difficult. West Virginia, I mean, training up there in West Virginia, you got 6% grades, 7% grades. You got uphill, downhill. It's a mess. I don't know how they were able to navigate West Virginia before there was cars or interstate systems. It's just so much geographically you got to get beyond. I don't understand how they did it. I don't really understand. I don't get it. Now, I mean, I understand now why they seceded from Virginia, because it's a whole different place. You know, once you cross some mountains, it's a whole different world. But anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And let's talk about these judges who were removed and or suspended. Now, I spoke about that judge last time. Well, I didn't say it in the live show, but there was a judge in, where was that? In Louisiana, in Lafayette, Louisiana, a white judge, and she was removed because she was saying the N-word over and over again, right? I ain't gonna play it because we got some cussing and fussing and whatnot, but I'll show it to you guys right quick. I'll just show the actual, like the thumbnail of the video, I suppose. So let me put that up right quick. Give me 1 second. So the caption on the video says, well, the caption that he wrote says, Louisiana Judge Michelle Odenay responds to video. She and her family repeatedly say the word N-word, the word N-word. Quote, I was given a sedative at the time of the video. I have zero recollection of the video and the disturbing language used during it. And the caption on the video says, Judge Michelle Odenay of Lafayette, Louisiana, used racial slurs on video. Now, it looks like somebody was recording her in her house, watching the TV as they were reviewing like the ring cam footage. Because what happened was there was this black guy that was trying to break into her car and to her house, and her sons were home when the attempt happened, and they were able to catch him and hold him for the police. And he's in jail right now, awaiting trial for burglary. But yeah, during the video, they kept saying, oh, there's an N-word. We got an N-word, like over and over again, like it was part of the everyday language. Now, because of that, there was a whole big backlash. Everybody in this, not everybody in the city, but a lot of the city's people that work with her, a lot of her colleagues said she has to go. She's a racist, all this and that. And the third, she apologized and has not stepped down yet, as if I'm not mistaken. But she got suspended by some higher power. Not really sure who it was that suspended her, and they're going to review all her cases. Now that's probably the right thing to do. Review the cases. You can't just say like the end. Like they were trying to say vacate all of her sentences. I'm like, come on, you can't vacate all of her sentences. But if you feel like she could be biased towards quote unquote people of color, meaning black folks, if that's your thought process because of the video, okay, review her cases then see what you find. And I was saying in my video, go ahead and review it. And if you find that she was too hard on black folks, get rid of her. If she was too soft on black folks, get rid of her. That's a problem as well. Let's not look at this. We can't just say, oh, well, she did not go hard on them, therefore it's no problem. Nah, if she went too soft, that's also a problem. Oh, you feeling bad for the black man? He don't know no better. He, it's not his fault. That's racism too. So if she's racist, then let's talk about it in the real way, not just kind of halfway. You understand? If she was too soft, let her go. If she was too, strict, too much of a tyrant on him, let her go as well. But as of right now, she's been suspended out there in Lafayette, Louisiana. Now, another judge, a black woman, has been removed from the bench in Birmingham, Alabama. Now, this woman was completely crazy. See, the white woman was doing stuff off the job in her home that was offensive, that might make someone think that she could be biased against black folks in the courtroom, right? That's the whole thing. That's the entire situation. But this judge was doing things on the clock, okay, to her colleagues and all that stuff. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the article that I want you guys to, that has everything that I need in it. Give me 1 second. Her name is Nikita Blockton. And, here we go. Here we go. Now, this is crazy. And from what I've been reading from some of you guys, she's been kind of crazy for a while, but she's just now being removed from office. And there's people like this out there. You guys get some crazy judges and, whatnot. There's corruption that happens. People that shouldn't be in powerful positions are there and they should go. But here is the article. I'm putting it on the screen. Alabama judge called colleagues Uncle Tom from the bench, or removed from the bench. She called her own colleagues Uncle Tom. All right, hold on. Let me read some of this right quick. Not the entire article, obviously. She called her fellow jurist Uncle Tom and heifer. The old school black lady. Oh, you old heifer. She did that type of stuff. It's crazy. Now, hold on. It says she abused her staff, inappropriate comments. It said that she had excessive, unproductive, and unnecessary nights and weekends that her staff was forced to do. Basically, overworking the staff, abusing them, doing all kind of stuff, right? And then when they were trying to, investigate to see what's going on, she was trying to get their cell phones to have them delete things to cover her tracks. I mean, just a nut. Then she had burner accounts, right, on like a Facebook, social media. She was friending lawyers and whatnot, leaking trial information, threatening people. I mean, just totally crazy. Totally crazy, right? She threatened a party in a divorce case and provided another advice to another through fake accounts. So she had burner accounts giving privy information to people that are in a trial, and she's the judge. So, here's something else. Attacking somebody on social media. Here's a quote. Quote, false prophet. How much is your white judge paying you? The devil is watching you, all caps. So, I mean, stuff like that is just crazy. It's one thing to be an alleged racist off the clock, right? It's different when you do something on the clock, attacking people, using burner accounts, leaking information of a pending case of an ongoing trial, and you're the judge. Now, if you look into Michelle Odenay, the white lady in Louisiana, and you find anything like this, then she's got to go. She must go 100%. So yeah, shout out to Nikita Blockton. You got to roll out, man. You can't be doing stuff like that on the bench. You got to go. It is what it is. All right. And shout out to all the good people out there that are in public service. If you police, fire, military, if you're a judge or whatever you are, if you're out there doing the right thing, then shout out to you. If you're doing the wrong thing, then you got to go. And that's just simple as that. Yes, it is despicable. Very, very despicable. And, here's one more thing. Now, shout out to Candace Owens. Candace Owens got an interview with Donald Trump. And, of course, there's quite a few things you can ask Trump. There's quite a few issues to discuss. But wait a minute, hold on. I'm gonna play that, and then I'm gonna play something else I just found on my feed here, crazy feed. So anyway, she got the interview with Donald Trump for, I think it's what, Daily Wire, and she asked a very important question about these mandates and the vax in general. Oh, and by the way, before I get to that video, they're saying Omicron is like 80% less deadly than the other variants. So 80% less deadly, right? That's first thing. Second thing is the symptoms look just like something else. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to put this on the screen so you guys can see it. And this is a real picture. I'm not making it up. So Omicron symptoms: runny nose, headache, fatigue, sneezing, sore throat. That's it. Runny nose, headache, fatigue, sneezing, sore throat. What does that sound like? Y'all tell me. I mean, maybe I just don't know what I'm seeing with my own two eyes. Maybe I have no idea what's going on. But this appears like a cold. All right. Maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know what's happening. But, I mean, how was that different than a cold? 80% less deadly. And already, the regular bug is like 99.9% non-deadly if you're not 100 years old. So what are we doing? They've even said it is 80% less deadly. Fauci been saying that it's milder, all this and that and the third. So what are we even doing talking about mandates? And they said the current vax does not even really work against Omicron. Why would it? It's a common cold. Ain't no vax for the common cold. Why would it be a vax for this? Repackaged common cold, not repackaged flu. I think the other versions of the bug were the flu repackaged. This right here is a repackaged common cold. Take some Robitussin and some hot soup, and you be good in 24 hours. Straight up. Hot soup, rest, Robitussin, knock it right on out. Some Vicks Vapor Rub, put it on your chest. When you're a little boy, you got sniffling. When you sniffling like that, put a rub on your chest and sleep in the morning, and you be right in the morning. You be totally fine. But anyway, so having said all that, Candace Owens interviewed Donald Trump and asked about the vax and the mandates. And let's see what he says. That good old testing, knock it right on out.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
I'm really glad to hear that. And I think that your supporters will be really glad to hear that, because no one really kind of got a clear understanding of, hey,
I think
vaccine's great, but people should have a right to
I'm
choose.
so proud of what we did with the vaccine, but it shouldn't be mandated. And
so he says, I'm proud of the vaccine, but it shouldn't be mandated. And I think that's reasonable. I'm not a vax fan. If you are, that's fine. No judging. This is a judgment-free zone when it comes to that. But the lack of a mandate is what I want. And he's on the same page.
it just shouldn't be. And the other thing is, a lot of people that get it, you had it. Did you get COVID?
No.
You didn't get it?
Doesn't like me.
Did you have the vaccine?
No. Doesn't
No
like me. And I've been
kidding.
all
I'm
around
very
the world.
impressed with
I don't
you.
know. I think they should
Doesn't
study
like
me.
you.
They should study me.
They're afraid
Doesn't
of
like
you.
me. Yeah.
It's a scary thing, but it's afraid of you.
My husband had it, though.
Yeah, but now your husband is now essentially immune. He's got a protection.
They won't even talk
They won't
about
give they won't give credit to people that had it that aren't going to catch it a second time. It's a very strong form of immunity. So they're crazy.
Well, here's a go. Here, talk about corruption. I mean, you're a businessman. Imagine I make a product and then you mandate that every single person has to buy my product. And this is why people are wondering, is there a little bit of corruption going on here at the
Exactly. Now, I want to play the whole thing because it gets kind of weird with YouTube. But y'all go subscribe to Daily Wire and watch this interview with Candace Owens and Donald Trump. But she's going down the rabbit hole that I went down as far as, at a certain point, it's like, okay, you're making it mandatory. And people like Pfizer, Moderna, et cetera, they got all this interest in the federales and the federal government that they're sponsoring political campaigns. They got ads on television. They're sponsoring entire networks. MS-13, DNC, ABC, NBC, CNN, et cetera. They're sponsoring these networks. So why wouldn't you say, oh, it's great, it's safe, it's effective, all this and that, and get the federal contract worth billions, you could pretty much write blank checks of billions of dollars to these big pharma companies. That's a problem. That's a definite conflict of interest, for sure. For sure. Right? Now, there's another video right here. Elon Musk was on Babylon B, I think. Wait a minute. So I've not even seen this clip yet, but apparently Elon Musk was on Babylon B. Now, here's what I heard through the grapevine. Not sure if it's true or false, but I heard that Elon wants to quit Tesla and become an influencer. I've heard that, but I'm not quite sure if it's true. If it is true, then I'm not surprised because you're doing all the podcasts. You're like on the influencer run, okay? You're pretty much doing everything you can. You're tweeting and you got some nice sharp tweets, so I wouldn't be surprised here. And the caption of this says, is comedy getting to an essential truth or is a propaganda element to it? When it stops trying to get to an essential truth that is humorous, then it's just not that funny.
Politically correct. It's sort of gone a bit in the SNL direction. Somewhat leftist, it's basically it will not really make fun of anything on the left, but it used to be much more even-handed.
And pause right quick. Elon is the richest African American in the country and in the world.
And then they just got the woke mind virus. Yeah. So to the point where the Onion it used to be very funny, and then it was not that funny. SNL, I used to be a huge fan of SNL, but, I still think they have some occasional good stuff, but it's just become, I think you've written some articles about this. SNL had many, if not most of the SNL episodes are kind of a moral lecture on why we're bad human beings, right. Instead of comedy. Yeah. So, and again, won't make fun of anything on the left, really. Like, they'll beat up on Ted Cruz 17,000 times. Right. You're like, okay, we get it.
And often because he's made fun of someone on the left, he'll make fun of someone on the left, and then they jump on him for that. It's like a defensive thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, if you're going to be funny, if you're going to have comedy, then it can't just be one-sided. Just let it be funny all the time, regardless. What it's become is a defense. It's like a defensive tool. It's a weapon that's used against the right and nothing else. And what that ends up being is nothing more than a weapon, and weapons by themselves aren't funny. If I have a billy club in my hand, a billy club is not funny. Okay, a gun is not funny, just a gun by itself. It's a weapon. That's what SNL's become, and that's not a good thing at all. You want it to be funny and be objective, but it's not, obviously. All right. So we'll see what Elon does. Is he going to be the head of Tesla forever, or is he going to just cash out and be like, you know what? If you want a car, that's fine, but I really don't care. I'm gonna be an influencer and that's it. Because he could do that. He doesn't have to be the guy behind Tesla or SpaceX. He could just cash out. See, a lot of people, they want to talk about raising. They want to raise taxes on millionaires and billionaires. By the way, Elon's going to pay $11 billion in taxes this year. $11 billion. And speaking about Elon and taxes, they keep saying he don't pay his fair share. He doesn't pay federal income tax, blah, blah, blah. He's going to pay $11 billion in taxes. And they lost $100 billion from this virus relief money that had been stolen. Let me find it right quick. I did see that article. So PBS, right quick. Hold on. Let's put it on the screen. Nearly $100 billion stolen in pandemic relief funds. Secret Service says $100 billion. So here's a question. Why even worry about Elon Musk not paying his quote unquote fair share when he pays $11 billion and $100 billion was stolen? And my question is, have you recovered any of that? Are you going to recover any of that? That's what I want to know. $100 billion. And understand this. This is money that we just printed. We printed this money. This is like monopoly money that's been stolen all that money printing really did is just make inflation go higher. Because there's so much money floating out there, paper dollars just everywhere, it's become worthless. And all they did was steal it, and they can't even get it back. Now they're going to say, oh, well, that's like 3% of the total money. That's a problem right there. They printed basically $3.4 trillion, and 100 billion is only 3%. If 100 billion is 3% of your money, then you got a problem. You got a serious problem if that's the case. But that's what's going on. And it said a lot of that's on unemployment fraud. So are you going to get that back or no? Probably not. It's probably all gone. Even if you try to get it back, you're not going to get it back. That money been spent up on drugs. That money been spent up on new cars and clothes and vacations. Whenever I see a fight in an airport, I'm thinking they probably got there from stimulus money. Because why are you fighting in the airport? People that normally never fly, never go anywhere, don't know how to act, who should not be flying because they can't afford it, now have the ability to fly like everybody else. They should be in their hood, like quarantined, but they're not, and they want to come to the airport and fight. You know what? Before I get to the super chats, which I do have, if you get caught in the airport fighting, that should be an automatic prison sentence right there. 15 with the L. I'm talking about straight away, straight to the gulag, big rocks, little rocks. It's so dangerous because, especially before TSA, because I don't know what's going on. You might have a gun in your bag. Remember in ATL, a gun went off in TSA. So that could have easily been in somebody's waistband. It could put out, start shooting. People don't respect the airport anymore. I always thought in the airport, there's police everywhere. Federal agents everywhere in the airport. You're going to fight right there? That's like going to the police station and fighting. You got to be dumb. And what could be so important or so pressing, you got to fight right at that moment? I mean, seriously, in that moment, you're going to fight? Come on. Wait till you get at least outside the airport or to wherever you got to go, not in TSA. So silly. But yeah, make flying more. But you know what? They can't really go back and make it more expensive because a lot of these airlines couldn't compete on a very high cost ticket. I say just take away all this extra money that they printed up and you wouldn't see so many fights in the airport. You didn't see all these fights until the stimmies. You would see the occasional fight, but not really. Now it's like I see a fight every single day. And then on the plane they're fighting. Ain't nobody got time for that. If you fight on the plane, oh no. You got to go to prison because that's just straight dangerous. But I'll move on. You guys are the best. I got super chats to read. Then we're going to get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Give me a few and then I will get to that. Now, as far as the race, I done seen black folks, Hispanics, white folks, but mostly black folks, unfortunately. I seen a few Hispanics, like in Miami fighting. I seen some white folks, some super Karens, about 300 pounds each, rumbling in the jungle. I seen a little bit of everything. It's not even necessarily one race specific, although you do see more black folks fighting. But I've seen every race on the plane fighting, and in the airport, TSA, all of that. For what reason, though? Like, why? Anyway, thank you to Apu for a few supers here who says DOJ dropped 3 witnesses in Whitmer kidnap case because they're federale snitches. 1, drunk driving with wife beater. 2, moonlighting security business. 3, perjurer. Also, Darren Beatty, revolver news, FBI entrapped MAGA January 6. Ray Epps is a federale snitch who got entrapped. Also, ABL vid said trucker of ABL vid, sad trucker story. Fans are very smart. Lots of interesting comments. Shout out to the truckers. Also, you see CBS 60 Minutes story on Alabama homes with no indoor plumbing. So very sad people are suffering this way. U.S. Army engineers, please help. Yeah, people still live like that in some parts of the country. No indoor plumbing. I've seen it. West Virginia is like that too. No running water. People living like in RVs, little shacks. You see it. People have no grocery stores anywhere near them. They still got to go hunt and can right now in 2021. So when I see people talking about, I live in the, they complain about how they live and whatnot. It's like you have a grocery store right there. You got an EBT card. You're living in this Section 8 house. You might got a few roaches and you might got a pet rat that live in your bedroom. But so what? You got all these amenities right here. You have everything right in front of you. You got a library, internet, cell phone, all of that. Some parts of this country, you don't have those things. You just don't have it. It's not there. So it's crazy. But yeah, some parts of the country do not have indoor plumbing. That's still going on. Matter of fact, there was one case I heard about of some years back. Not quite sure how long ago it was. It might have been kind of like in the 90s. But in Tennessee, there's some houses where, there was one house at least where there was no toilet. They had a hole in their floor where they would use the bathroom. Inside, it was a hole in the floor of their house, like in the bedroom or something, where they would use the bathroom. No actual toilet. I've seen that. Yep. Oh, also, Apu says, shout out to West Virginia. Bette Midler overrated. right on. Shout out to Doug V. Hold on. Mr. Person says, what you saying on Whitmer? Haven't been following recently. Sounded wild, like bath salt wild. Sometimes do a breakdown. I may do that because that story still has legs. There's still developments happening from that story, but it's crazy. But what I said from the beginning or close to the beginning is still true. That's a Fed joint. I think it was like 20 people involved with the whole situation. 18 were federales. Mostly, if not for the federales, there would be no case. They made the case. There was a couple of dumb morons. Some basement dwellers got caught up in it because the feds lured them into it and they fell for it. Now they going to the penitentiary forever. They're going away forever. It's over. It's a wrap. You try to kidnap a governor and you're a white militia or something like that. Oh no, you gotta go. You are like a terrorist, basically. It's a wrap. You might go to Gitmo for real. You may go to the real Gitmo for doing something like that. So it's a done deal. But the federales, they get off scot-free, right? It's funny how that works. Also, Michael Guest says, wasn't Biden supposed to have cured cancer with that magic wand of his? All he's done is pull it out. Hasn't waved it yet at us yet. Thank you to Michael who says, that's okay, Joey. I didn't want to see that anyway. Apu says, ABL, what's your live stream schedule coming for the coming week? I may stream on Christmas, if you ask me. I may stream Saturday, but I'm not really sure. We'll see. I'll decide if I'm going to stream on Christmas. Put it to you that way. Also, Michael. Oh, and also I will be on Tatum's show tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. So same time, same place, 8:30 Eastern time on Tatum's channel. I'll be there for that one. But as far as me streaming, I'm not really sure if I'm streaming on my channel on Christmas or not, but we'll see. On Christmas Day, I'll decide. Michael also says, Salty Army Lincoln, Nebraska in the house. Merry Christmas to all. Let me see. Hold on. Adopt 2030 says, have a couple of medium-sized dogs, shoot off since people hear it, and you'll stay safe in Tennessee. Right, exactly. If you make your presence known that, hey, don't come over here, it's all good, you'll be all right. And it depends on where you live in Memphis. In Tennessee. If you're living in Memphis, like South Memphis, forget about it. You're in a danger zone in South Memphis. And Frazier and stuff like that is kind of weird too. North Memphis, but definitely South Memphis is rough. But Nashville's okay. Really, in Tennessee is fine for the most part, except for Memphis. You could live anywhere else other than the heart of Memphis. You could live in, like, Mississippi, South Haven, in the Memphis area, you'd be all right. But in Memphis proper, don't forget about it. Nashville's okay. Chattanooga's okay. Knoxville's okay. It's straight. There are little hood areas everywhere you go. If you don't go to the hood areas, you'll be fine. But Memphis, stay away, please. Apple also says, ABO, most watched videos 2021. Oh, okay. You doing my breakdown of my most watched videos? Okay. So here's my most watched videos 2021. Update on the Ma'Khia Bryant story. Chinese doctor whistleblower. Biden clenched fist, the short, yes. Woke Coca-Cola. Police justified Ma'Khia Bryant and Vietnam vet transgender. Oh yeah, when the Vietnam vet was confronted by a trans person, yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, that old man he wasn't going for the nonsense. And everybody was on his side too. They supported him. That was a good story. Okay, you out there in East? Yeah, if you're out there by the mountains and you're East, you'll be just fine. You got a good strategy. You got your guns, you got your dogs, no problems at all. And Apple says, my best video 2021, or my favorite video 2021. My favorite video 2021 probably had to be, I have no idea. I make so many, I don't know what my favorite one was. So I have no idea. My best video I did in recent memory was last year when we did the election. That was crazy. I mean, it had like 25,000 watching live. That was a crazy night. A night to remember for sure. Also, he says, who's slimmer, Bill Clinton or Joe Biden? I can't tell nowadays, man. They both look kind of slim to me. Probably Joe. Favorite Christmas movie, Home Alone, Die Hard, Scrooge. Die Hard, man. That's the best Christmas movie ever, man. Definitely Die Hard. Not Home Alone or Scrooge. Thank you to Draco and Kodak, who says, Merry Christmas, ABL. Same to you. Hold on. Flex 10 Man says, ABL, have you seen that video by Cat Black, trans YouTuber? She has a large following. She reacted to a video you made about Zaire Wade. I saw that video. Yeah. She was saying that, or I'm not sure what this person is. Are they a male, female, whatever? But Cat Black said that I had a bad take. I don't understand how anybody could say that a child can decide to be transgender. If you want to be an adult and do that, so what? That's your business. If you're 18 years old, I don't care what you identify as. You can identify as the last train to Paris, a puff of train smoke, some old water, a fresh blade of cut grass. I don't care what you identify as an adult. But as a 12-year-old saying that you're transgender, no. Because if you're 12, you may go through what they call a phase. You may be kind of confused. Am I a boy? Am I a girl? Because you're 12 and your brain is not developed. You're trying to figure things out, but you don't know what's going on yet. So you should not be able to say you're transgender. Like, you know where we're going at this particular point. It's now getting to the point where you can say that a 12-year-old has agency to do whatever they want. And you know where that goes. Let's not go down that road. Let's let kids be kids. Period. If anybody says it's okay for a 12-year-old to be trans, question them. You'd be like, okay, what else can they do? Where does the line get drawn? I'm sorry, I say protect kids. If Cat Black wants to be trans, so what? Go for it, boss. You're an adult. But a 12-year-old, no. No. We're not doing that. Okay, but I'm gonna digress. Draco and Kodak said, Merry Christmas, ABL. Merry Christmas to you as well. Apple says, ABL, most memorable Christmas gift you gave. The most memorable Christmas gift was when I was a little kid and me and Dad were in his old white Toyota truck. I'll never forget it. Because I remember not the gift, I don't really remember. The gift I remember, but it was the moment. It was me and Dad coming from Roanoke. And we had this, I was a little boy too. It was this kind of box type thing, like a phone, but it had like buttons on it that you could push, make sounds. I'll never forget, I was probably about 4 years old, and he had it behind the seat of the truck. This is a small truck, so it was like like a two-seater. Right behind the headrest was the wall of the cab. So it was in between the headrest and the wall of the cab. It was one gift. That's all I remember. There could have been other things going on, but I remember that one gift was the most important to me on that day. So because of the moment, it was me and Dad in the truck riding on the mountain. That was fun to me. The gift wasn't even really important. It was just that moment. So that's the most memorable gift I got for Christmas was that. Okay. Also, A. Canel's asking Apple what's his favorite slushie. That's hilarious. So you got to answer that, Apple, on your own time. Apple also says, ABL, you like John Denver's song Country Road? Oh, of course. That's the West Virginia anthem. Take me home to a place where I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama. That's like our anthem. That is our state song, Country Road in West Virginia, 100%. I don't know what it is officially, but it doesn't matter. The actual state song is Country Road. That's fact. Apple also says, poor, illiterate, strung out, sound like California. Hey, I didn't say it, but it is what it is. Blast Radius says, Bette Miller is one of those vile people that probably lives in the Hamptons, talking down to the working class. This type of leftist elitism or aristocratic snobbery is one of the big reasons why the French Revolution started. Exactly. Thank you to Brent Grimerson, who says 7% inflation going on 10%. Biden did that. Absolutely. Thank you to Eve on the Stick for your donation, who says thank you. Thank you to Labra Bulls, who says in simple math, F plus. I can't really read that. Basically, it says FJB. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to A. Canel, who says, I'll drink to that. F that guy. Michael Guest says, did ball snap off again? Again, temper, Alec. He was asked if he didn't really pull the trigger. He didn't answer the question. Hashtag FJB. Thank you to Datslav Atman Carey for your donation. Thank you to Jimmy 2 times with a HY, who says, the world needs more of this. Big fan. Thank you for that. Thank you to Nicole Thomas for your donation. Thank you to Miss Poppy for your working out. Keep it up emoji donation. Thank you to Michael Guest, who says, the trucker was sentenced, but Baldwin is free. It must be Baldwin's white Democrat privilege. Hashtag SJB. Thank you to Josh Foss, who says, appreciate you, ABL. Love the show. Thank you. Thank you to Triple M Martin, who says, can we fire every pro ball player who used the nagger word? Fair is fair. If the word is locked, it shouldn't matter who uses it or get over it. Labrador says, suppose they gave a virus and nobody came. Hold on. There's a few more here. Thank you to Deborah Ricketts for your donation with the hippos. Thank you to Labrador Bulls, Retro ABL. Santo Bartes says, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Merry Christmas to the best chats on the internets. Mandates, keep them in power, will not comply. Thank you to Stavros Serentopoulos, who says, ABO, great show. Vaccinated people that infect each other will continue to create new variants. Hey, I don't know nothing about that. I'm just saying, if you have the bug and you have the shot, then what happened? How'd that work? Joe Ryder 84 says, what do you think about Biden when he was a vice president? He was the same. He's worse now, but he was a buffoon back then. So I don't really see any difference, just a decline in the same person. Also, Joe Ryder 84 said, would you say the Waffle Pune videos are fake? I have no idea what that is. Waffle Own? What's that? Waffle PWN? I have no idea what that is. The anti-visa. Merry Christmas, ABL. Many blessings to you and yours. Advice this time. Best advice for me to stick to the point and not get emotional when debating. It's hard because if you're an emotional person, that's just your personality. But focus on the facts. Focus on delivering the facts. And be calm, wait your turn. Don't try to argue. Just deliver the facts. That's it. And don't allow yourself to get caught up in their trap. They may try and bait you into debating with emotion. They may try to throw a little jab and insult you. Just stay composed. Focus on facts. Don't focus on them. Hear what they're saying. Pay attention, but don't focus on their insulting nature. Focus on the facts, period. Also, Joe Ryder 84 says, which white liberal annoys you? Which black activist annoys you? That's a good question. The white liberal that annoys me. Wow, that's a few of those. I would say Sean King. That's my arch nemesis, aka Talcum X, aka Martin Luther Cream, aka a few more things. The fake black guy that's obviously white. That's my arch nemesis. The bane of my existence is Sean King. And as far as black activists, Ta-Nehisi Coates, the guy that has all these books. I mean, that guy, I mean, it's a whole class of these guys that are elevated as intellectuals, but they're dumb. They're dumb as box of rocks, but they're seen as intellectuals. It's like, why put that guy out there as a smart person? These ridiculous, corny books, The Shape of Water. I mean, stupid stuff. Water Dancer, whatever that book is called. He gets like really under my skin. Ta-Nehisi Coates and Sean King, two peas in the pod. Might as well be roommates at this particular point. Thank you to S Ford for your donation, and thank you to the Anti-View says, all I want for Christmas is a delayed Potter verdict, so riots won't ruin Minnesota Christmas. A very good point. They might do that because if they decide like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, that's going to be a problem. That is going to be an issue. All right, so it's time for the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's go ahead and get into it. There's also a Skype email in the description box. If it doesn't work, then it's not my fault. Please blame the white man. It's his fault. I do not accept responsibility or accountability for what Skype does. All right, let's get into it. So let's go. All righty, Matt, what's going on?
Hey, Merry Christmas, ABL.
Merry Christmas.
Man, people that keep calling Christmas music, holiday music they're kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's like saying, happy holidays, enjoy the holidays. It's like, no, it's Christmas. It's okay to say Christmas.
Yeah, and I'm an atheist, and it's just because I'm just not a spiritual person. I think I'm spiritually handicapped, but I hate atheists. I absolutely hate them. Did you see that satanic baby that they put at the nativity scene in PA?
A satanic baby?
Yeah.
What?
After this call, I mean, they're basically, you got like these, I think it's in their town hall, but you basically got like a dueling battle of Christians saying prayers over nativity and a group of atheists saying, they're basically reading that sign, hate has no home here, we are open-minded, we believe in science, like they're chanting.
Science? And, like, you know what, that's been a whole battle cry for these guys. Oh, I believe in the science. So, okay, you're bringing it to a Christmas display. Why? What's the purpose? I don't understand.
Yeah. And I had pointed out that, like, we don't do that to Ramadan.
We don't. We sure don't.
Yeah, and these people, I've challenged them, like here in town, like they're trying to erase Christmas, but man, the Santa mailbox is pretty full. But I challenge people. I'm like, hey, go ahead and try calling like Ramadan music, holiday music, or holiday food, or something like that. Give it a shot. Put a satanic baby, you know what I mean, in the town square. When Hanukkah is going on. Give it a shot. But yeah, these people are cowards, man.
Yeah, I'm seeing a baby right now. It looks pretty gross.
It's pretty gross. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure they're atheists because they believe like in a state religion. You know what I mean?
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah, I've never seen the complete absence. See, we're in Seattle right now, or a suburb. And about 10 or 15 years ago, I went probably closer to 10 and 15, but I was going to move to Portland. I had a contract out there, and we landed out there. And this dude with a kilt was talking to my baby, and he had like nose rings and face tattoos.
Nah.
And but he was super respectful and open-minded and just weird. You know what I mean? Like, right. He was. Now that they all take themselves super serious and they're all wearing black bloc, and for Christ's sake, I feel as like I dodged a major bullet by not ending up in Portland and setting my business and everything up there. But
definitely,
I just want to say Merry Christmas and keep going with a great show, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Yeah.
All right. Great call from my man, Matt, for sure. And so the satanic baby is called Baby Baffy. For Baphomet, obviously. That's what they're going to call it, Baby Baffy. And here's the baby. So, yeah. It's like, why do this? Are you trying to get attention? Is that what it's for? This is in Illinois, Capitol Rotunda. This is the third year they've been doing it. So it's like an annual tradition. They bring out a satanic baby, a baby goat demon. It's like, why? Why? Like you said, and they won't do that to the Islamic or to the Jews. Only Christians, because we've seen this passive, turn the other cheek, all this, that, and the third. We won't do anything. All right. That's kind of how that goes. Okay, but have a display of Prophet Muhammad at all. Like, display Muhammad and see what happens. That'll be your last display you ever do. All right, let's get to the next one. 304, you're on line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Jeff. How you doing tonight, ABL?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Hey, pretty good. I'm from West Virginia here, so I would like to talk a little bit about the Joe Manchin thing. But first off, I'd just like to say, I've seen where you said there's $100 billion stolen from COVID funds. Isn't it nice that we know the FBI is, at least down in Virginia, quieting parents instead of on that? And the other night, I heard President Biden there Tuesday night, I believe it was, saying there's going to be 5 million COVID tests given away. And then this morning on the news feed, I see there is a rise in demand for COVID tests. I wonder where that's coming from. I wonder where that's coming from.
Exactly.
But, on something serious, when you're talking about this young guy that could be facing 110 years in prison, real quick on that, I think we need to let this guy maybe go to the military. That way he's no longer a liability and maybe an asset. I think that would be a real merciful thing to do. If the Army or the Navy would accept him, I bet he would say yes, sir, to that deal in a minute.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Because, really, that was an accident. He was a clean person, no drugs, no alcohol, no bad record. It was an accident. So,
well, and I'll also say this, listen, if he goes into the military, when they send him to do a job, he will be properly trained to do that job.
Correct. Absolutely.
And so, maybe we should suggest that to the people of Colorado, but they also need to get their laws in order, because that is an awful sentence for him. But I'd like to talk about Joe Manchin and the no vote for that. I'm very happy that he voted no on that. But the thing is, Joe Manchin, he also has voted for other things in the past. He went along with all this nonsense about Donald Trump being impeached. He also voted for all these other stimulus packages. We need him to get much more serious against this. And listen, as far as Bette Midler and anybody goes, that's not Joe Manchin's vote. That vote belongs to the people of West Virginia. And so, I can explain why I do not want this. And I will read a few things that I have written down. First of all, who really knows what's in this bill? That's one big thing. One thing I do know is in it is they want to put in internet infrastructure. And I'm no magic 8-ball, but I've got to guess what's going to happen is they're then going to put in this infrastructure using our tax dollars, turn it over to private industries so they can raise our internet and cable and phone bills. So I'm not for that. And when they're going to print more dollars to do this, they are devaluing the dollars we already have. A little piece of your dollar doesn't fall off when they do this. Your dollar doesn't shrink visibly, but it does lose value, and that's what we have to see. And when we print more of this money, that's the way it is. Also in this bill, they're doubling down on a lot of bad ideas. These Green New Deals and stuff, listen, we're doing this all backwards. We need to have more of a bounty system if we're going to try for green energy. We need to say, hey, you invest the money, you come up with a good idea, you prove it's going to work, then we're going to invest in it, instead of keep investing in the same ideas that just aren't panning out. And so anytime that Bette Midler wants to come down to West Virginia and have a sober, literate conversation about this, I will gladly talk to her about that.
Sounds great to me. Sounds perfect.
Yeah, and absolutely. Would you like to ask me any questions about what's going on here in West Virginia? And I mean,
the drug issue, like, is the drug issue like more about the pills and the doctors, or like what is it about more than anything else?
It really, it's about there's no jobs here. And listen, these big pharmacies are like drug cartels. They are no different than what is coming out of Mexico. They are just doing it somehow legally in the United States. We desperately need for these big pharmacies and these doctors who have pushed these pills down our throats. We need for them to see serious prison time because, they have pushed this on us. Listen, this isn't proud for me to say, but when I was 20 years old, I was been in a couple car accidents and they put me on those heavy painkillers. Listen, when you're 20 years old, I promise you, you are not in enough pain to take those pills.
Right.
They will ruin your life. I have very friends. It is not fun. And they're just pushing it out there. I haven't been to a doctor in 5 years and I have severe pain issues. The first thing the doctor says here in West Virginia, when you go in and you tell them you're in pain, they say, well, we're not giving you painkillers. They're well, let's see if we can get you in better shape. Let's see if there's other answers to this. The first thing they go for is the painkiller answer. And that needs to stop. We need more open-minded doctors. And, listen, I have been down to the convenience store with a car running and a young lady with a needle in her arm and have to call the law and the ambulances to come get her. And I pray for these people. It's not their fault that this scourge has been pressed upon them. It's really not. We're good people, but this has been pushed upon us. And listen, it's tough. They put me on those pain pills. It's tough. I've not had one in a long time. It is very tough. And there's no help. There's no serious help. And that's what we need. We need for the people who are pushing these to face serious consequences. This needs to be severely regulated. Listen, if Joe Manchin wants to do us a favor, he really needs to push for laws that get these pills out of the state and regulated. This could be done, but they're making too much money by the sale of these pills. So.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Y'all have a good evening.
Same to you now. Great call. That's what I was saying. West Virginia is the pills. That's the problem. And they're targeting Appalachia specifically because they know it's no jobs. People are bored. It's a small place. It's nothing else. So it's easy to get on the pills and get hooked. That becomes recreation. And of course, you're hooked on them. You're physically dependent. It's a crazy trap. 818, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Ray. Nice to be on your live stream. I just wanted to talk about the Build Back Better plan. So I'm just looking at the framework that they have posted on the whitehouse.gov website. So, there's a lot wrong with it. And it's frustrating because there's this one point that says, stops large profitable corporations from paying zero in tax and tax corporations that buy back stock rather than invest in the company. So the problem I don't like with that is it talks about how the Build Back Better framework will impose a 15% minimum tax on the corporate profits that large corporations with over $1 billion in profits report to shareholders. So that's basically saying on the report that's distributed to shareholders, so people know, hey, do I want to invest in this company? We're going to impose a tax on something that actually has very little to do with the taxable income. So it's basically this separate form of accounting that they're trying to instill a tax on our corporation. So I think it's actually going to run into some problems because foreign corporations are not going to be subject to this tax. So our own corporations are actually going to look less competitive for investors. So I think that's going to encourage people to invest overseas more than our actual own companies.
Exactly. It's just like taking money out of the country, just sending it elsewhere. and that defeats the whole purpose. You want to have growth, so why incentivize external investment? It doesn't make any sense.
Right. I mean, I like, having the option to invest overseas if we want to, but I don't feel like it should be the main objective, like pushing money to be invested overseas instead of investing. It should be kind of a priority to invest domestically because we do live there, right? Like we do want our own businesses to succeed. So that's all I wanted to mention. So thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. It makes sense to me. Yeah. I mean, this whole thing about taxes, people don't understand about taxes. They don't really get it. The average person that is buying into this whole thing about big companies not paying taxes, they look at it from their point of view. If you go on TurboTax, like most people do, and file taxes, you're not even really going to be able to understand unless you've been educated to understand. Okay. Like people got tax lawyers and a whole team of people to comply with the IRS. Not even trying to find like little loopholes, which that's kind of a silly term. Loophole, ain't no loopholes. It's just a law. Follow the law. Okay. I'll do whatever the law says. I'm not trying to violate the law, period. And all the time I see these rich guys on the left talking about, oh, tax me more. You don't have to get taxed more to pay more money. If you write a check to the government, they'll cash it. No questions asked. It doesn't have to be a bill you paying. Just write them a check. Just write them a check. $10 million. They'll cash it. Okay. That's how it works. So they just say stuff just to be talking, but it's not really real. But I'll go ahead and digress. This whole thing about taxes is just kind of dumb. 309 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Johnny from Illinois.
All righty. What's happening?
I wanted to ask you for your opinion on how many blue states you think you're going to flip in 2022.
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. I think that I don't know about an exact number, but I think there are some that are kind of purplish that are going to flip red. I think Virginia will still stay red. North Carolina, I'm not sure. It might be kind of purple. That'd be red. I don't think any major states will become red that aren't already. But at the same time, there won't be any red states that turn blue. I think Georgia will be solidly red, but that's kind of a weird thing with Georgia because they're getting quite a few Californians as well. If they don't want to go to Nashville, they go to Atlanta and the surrounding areas in northern Georgia. So that could be kind of weird. But I think definitely Virginia will still stay red.
Okay. Second question I have for you is, what would you say to like young kids that are just getting out of high school? What hope do they have for the future? I mean, what's someone they should do to help build themselves up to be in a better spot in a couple years?
Well, the main thing is just getting skills that are applicable in this modern economy. Getting any kind of tech skills, any kind of trade skills. Like, you don't have to be a computer guy if you don't want to be. You could be any kind of skilled tradesman because that's going to be in high demand. Any kind of truck driver, anything dealing with logistics, anything dealing with that type of stuff, physical labor work that's skilled, that can't be automated really anytime soon. I mean, you can't really automate a plumber. You can't really automate building a house just yet. You can't really automate some of these skills. So have applicable skills that are going to be in high demand. Don't go to college just for no reason. If you're going to go to college, let it be for a particular reason. And really, you probably won't need it unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something that needs really high education to get. So just be smart and use your brain to figure out what you want to do with yourself as far as having skills. And just be aware of what's happening politically, be involved locally.
Okay. So with Kyle Rittenhouse being charged with, I think it was like attempted murder or something, and I think the guy that literally pointed the gun at him got no charges, and then the truck driver that got 110 years for basically a vehicular accident. I mean, do you have faith in our justice system when it's so openly abused for whichever political party's in power?
Well, I think so. I have faith. But see, the problem with the issue from my point of view is that every state is different. You know, you can have a completely different outcome in your life as far as the legal system, depending upon where you live. If you're living in California versus living in Florida is way different. Just living everyday life is different. You got some places that are still locked down. You can't leave your house really. You gotta show a VAX card to go get bite to eat. You gotta wear a mask all the time. It's just different depending upon where you live. So that's why I say get involved locally, because your local government has more of an impact on your everyday life and on the laws and whatnot, which you have to abide by, than the federal government. The federal government is not involved with making Kyle Rittenhouse face charges when he probably shouldn't have faced charges. That's the state that he was in that had that happen. And also pressure from the outside. You know, that's the main thing. But get involved locally with politics. You can affect things that way.
Okay. Well, shit. I mean, that's all I got for you.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Bye, man.
Yeah, man. So the main thing is get a trade. Definitely get a trade. Whatever if you're a young man, like I told my little cousin, when he was like 13 to 14, I was like, yo, you need to have some skills right now that you can develop right now. Like, what are you going to do when you get to be an adult? Think about that now. Whatever you kind of have an interest in, if you can focus on that, then do it. If you see something that you can do, even if there's no present interest, do it and make money. But don't just go into your adulthood with no plan, with no direction. You don't want to be that guy just kind of meandering around trying to figure it out. Figure it out early. So then you could be 17, 18, 19, working toward your goal, developing your skill, or even before that. So when you're 21, 22, 23, you're already making money. You're already good. You got an established skill and you're getting great. 30 years old, you've been in the game 10, 15 years already. You're an expert. That's how you do it, in my humble opinion. 631, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's going on, ABL?
Ain't too much, man. What's happening?
Hey, man, I just wanted to call, man. This is Darrell, man, from Long Island, New York, man. I just wanted to call for everybody that's in New York City, man. I don't know if you heard about the bill that they're voting on January 5th.
No, I haven't.
Well, it's a bill that they're voting on called A146. If anybody has a chance, I would love for you guys to go ahead and look up this bill. And it's just, I feel like with this whole COVID thing, it's like going way too far. So if you do have a chance, just please look up this bill, because the way how it's sounding like they're going to try to like literally like detain people for not being vaccinated.
Oh,
or
wow.
even worse, maybe it sounds like the wording in the bill sounds like it's either detained or like maybe coming out with a firing squad. But yeah, they're supposedly voting on this bill in January 5th. So I'm just wondering if anybody have actually seen this bill, actually read it. If you haven't, please look it up, because I just feel like the government right now is like overreaching when it comes down to this whole COVID stuff.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's going to end up dying. If it doesn't die, then you're not going to have that be enforced. I don't believe so, because I just don't really see it happening, even with the way it is now. I'm going to ask you a question as far as the vax mandates and whatnot. Is that really being enforced with the businesses having vax mandates and things of that nature?
Yes, up here where I'm at in Long Island, like they just whatever the last mandate was, they just passed. No matter your vaccination status, you literally have to go into any one of these businesses, no matter what business it is. You have to go there with a mask on.
Well,
they would not like literally have you come in or whatnot.
The mask mandate is one thing. How about the vax mandate though?
No, but it is coming soon, though. It is coming soon. It's coming very soon.
So I think at a certain point what's going to happen is people are just going to say, you know what, we're just not going to do it. That has to be that the only way it's going to be able to fight against it, and the way that it won't go forward is if people just stop and say, this is not going to happen. We're not going to cooperate. But if they want to cooperate and they keep on going, then it'll happen. That's the only barrier in between it happening and not happening is the people. That's it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, because I've seen like protests going on in like Australia and Austria Austria, and places like that, where like people are like flooding the streets, like literally fighting for this, like fighting the whole vaccination mandate, the vaccination card. And I feel like here in America, it's just like it hasn't hit us yet. It hasn't hit us yet. I know it hit like a lot of states, but I don't think it actually hit us to the point where we're actually like out here like protesting, like literally fighting, like, hey, listen, our rights are being infringed upon right now. Like people are losing their jobs. They're forcing us to do things we're not supposed to, like we want to do and we can't do it now. It's like I feel like in America we need to speak up more. We need to do a lot more and show these politicians and these higher ups that's in Washington and whatnot that, listen, this is America. We are not having none of the bull crap here. We're not playing it. We're not having it. But I don't know. I feel like right now it seems like everybody is just like still kind of like nonchalant until like something literally big happens. So I'm just like hoping that everybody's still like, and I agree with you. I don't feel like it's gonna pass, but I am gonna keep a watchful eye on it. Because it's just that if so many things happening now, it will be easy for us to be distracted from these type of things that's going on.
Right. Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
That's the only thing I had, though, man. But thank you, man. I hope you have a happy holidays and everybody stay safe out here.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. Merry Christmas.
All right, Merry Christmas, man.
All righty. Yeah, I can't do it. I refuse. Like where I live, I don't have these problems at all. It's no mask mandate, no vax mandate, no nothing. You can do whatever you want. Go in a restaurant and it's not even like it's a problem out here. There's no hospitals being flooded. It's just not happening. It's just like regular life. And people are flocking here from all over the country because of that. 773 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, it's your Chicago police officer friend. How you doing?
I'm well. About yourself?
I'm doing good. First of all, I'd like to start off by saying, we should let 8-year-olds decide if they're trans or not. We should also let them be superheroes and jump off the roof of a building and try to fly faster than a speeding bullet. I mean, it makes as much sense. That little kids can make up their own minds about what they want to do and what they want to be. How ridiculous.
Exactly. It's crazy.
Number two, I don't know if you saw this, is only 5 hours old. So, it's kind of local, but as goes the Midwest, so goes the country. Mayor Lightfoot is now had a press conference, and she's saying that she wants the government to help her. That, by the way, just to give you a statistic, we're not at the end of the year yet. We're not even at Christmas yet. And the city of Chicago has now had 833 homicides. Wow. That's where we're at, 833 homicides. Wow. We have 44 homicides just in the month of December. That's a cold month. Just in the month of December, 44 homicides. So she gets on the press conference, and she's asking for the government's help, and she wants the ATF to do more, just like she wanted, the Michigan Avenue businesses to do more for the looting and everything. They should lock up their purses and have customers by appointment and whatnot. She now wants the ATF to come in and do more and help out Chicago with the murder rate. Well, here's the thing, Miss Mayor. Do you think the ATF is any different than when Trump tried to give you help and you didn't want to take it? I mean, they're the same agents. It's the same people that were there 4 years ago. It's not new agents. I mean, everybody didn't retire and quit, and they got a bunch of Democratic agents. It's the same people. But now things are out of control. The murder rate is so high, it's ridiculous. 833. That is the highest, not per capita, because when you figure it out, I mean, if you live in a in a town that has 300 people and you have 5 murders, you're going to have, a bigger murder rate per capita. But just on sheer homicides, Chicago is the highest in the country. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It really is. I'm seeing it right here. It says 2021 violence stats the worst in nearly 30 years. So you're going back to the crack wars years.
Not only that, ABL, I like to point out to people that they sometimes don't take into consideration. The highest murder rate in Chicago was in 1970. That is 50 51 years ago, 1970, which was 900, and I believe it was 900 and something like 54 or something like that in 1970. But let's remember this. In 1970, 50 some years ago, medicine was not as advanced as it is today. Today, a trauma center saves so many people. It's how many people were shot. If you had the same hospital facilities today as you had in 1970, do you know what the murder rate would be today?
Yeah, way above.
And I'll give you another statistic real quick. The total shot in the city, this is the total people shot in the city, 4,445 thus far this year. I mean, that's the real thing. A lot of those people, and believe me, people get shot all the time. I go to the hospital all the time. Have to do, every shooting has to have a police report. And, my district is in Cook County Hospital in a trauma center. And, they save people that have been shot 6-7 times in the chest, and these people survived. These people would not have survived in 1970. So that homicide number is ridiculous. And I love when these politicians get on the news and say crime is going down. Yeah, well, crime is going down for what? From 1 p.m. to 1:15 on a Saturday afternoon, it went down. It's ridiculous.
Right on. Absolutely.
All right, ABL, good job. I'll talk to you later. And I don't want to say happy anything because, I might get flagged for it. Happy holidays, and Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Wow, great call. And here's something else. Here's something I want to ask you guys. Now, out of the homicides, you said 833 homicides in Chicago this year. Thus far, we're not even done with 2021 yet. It could rise, could make it to a smooth 850. You never know. But anyway, 833 homicides. Now, out of those homicides, guess how many guess the percentage that were black. The victims. I ain't talking about I'm talking about the victims. How many of the 833 homicides were black, percentage-wise? Take a wild guess. 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. How many? Wild guess. And I'll wait. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. But, that's a bigger problem right there is that that the black death from the homicide in these areas that nobody really cares about. It's just like whatever. And when you bring it up, you consider it to be racist or some kind of race traitor. Okay. It's crazy. All right. So somebody says 95, 80, 100, 180, 70, 80, 76, 85. Y'all are right on it. Okay. 81%. 81%. And then 15% are Latino. Okay. 15% Latino, 81% black. And the most affected are the ages of 20 to 29. So you got these young 21-year-old or a lot of times 15-year-old black men or boys getting shot and killed by a person of the exact same age and the exact same race group. 81%. Is Chicago all black? No, it's not. But this stat you can see all over the country. And people talking about, the biggest problem is racism. How? Tell me how. That's a big part of the reason why I became conservative, because I would hear stuff like, we got to blame racism. You got to blame the white man. And I'm like, well, how about this? How about these stats right here? I put it on the screen and then I get back to the calls in a moment. But how about these? Hold on. Let me just do it right. I don't want to mess up here. But how about these stats that are on the screen? Okay, let's talk about, we're going back to 1991, 1994, back in the crack wars years. The big problem with the crack epidemic was all the violence. And I lived through that. The violence was crazy. Back in Virginia and Portsmouth and Chesapeake and Norfolk in the 90s, it was like New Jack City. It was crazy. It was totally crazy, man. Zombies walking around, extreme violence, reckless violence. One of my classmates got murdered when I was a little kid. Like, I was like 9 years old. My classmate was in the project in Jeffrey Wilson. I think that's gone now, or they boarded it up, about to be gone. But anyway, she lived in the project, but somebody came to her door, knocked on the door. This is a little girl now, about 8, 9 years old. She opens the door, they shoot her point blank range, kill her. You know, you would hear that story a lot, or similar stories in your classroom in the morning. Imagine that. You say Pledge of Allegiance, all that, and then it's like, okay, X, Y, and Z person got shot and killed. And we're not even in a really super, super high crime area. Now, imagine Chicago. Imagine hearing your classmate that got shot and killed the night before, like in the morning announcements. I mean, racism, really? Ain't a white man. Who's white man behind the bushes killing these kids in Chicago? You tell me. I mean, it's crazy. And then when he said about the number of people that got shot, the 4,100 people or more that got shot, I mean, the death toll would be much higher if not for trauma, you know, surgery, quick medicine. It'd be much higher, for sure. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and digress. I may do a video about this specifically and to get a little bit deeper into it. All right. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Let's get to 215. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, ABL?
Not too much. What's happening?
Nah, you know, so I'm just calling in and see, ask a few questions.
All right.
So I'm guessing you're pretty much pro-gun rights. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right, cool. So how do you feel about the gun rights in New Jersey and New York?
Well, I'm not really sure what you mean specifically, because I'm not sure about the actual laws they have out there, like exactly. So I'm not really sure what you mean.
All right, so basically, I'm from Philadelphia, and Pennsylvania in general is, you know, it's pretty easy for a law-abiding citizen to apply for a gun license and get approved. Now, if you go over the bridge, because mind you, I'm from Philadelphia, like I said, if you go over the bridge, and it's like so difficult for law-abiding citizens to conceal carry. Same thing if you go to New York, it's like almost nearly impossible to get a gun license. Like, I'm just asking this because I had a friend of mine who actually, like, recently, like, he's in the mindset where he doesn't really, like, trust people enough to go out. Because, you know, with all the things going on nowadays, he doesn't trust people enough to go out without his weapon because he wants to protect himself and the people around him. And mind you, he's a law-abiding citizen that has a license to carry in Pennsylvania. So he went to New Jersey. He got pulled over by a state trooper. They illegally searched his vehicle and they found his weapon, and he got charged for it. Mind you, he wasn't committing no crime, but he still got charged for it. So that's why I was asking, how do you feel about some states having like real strict gun laws that's pretty much affecting law-abiding citizens, and then criminals are going to carry regardless?
I think it's a bad thing because, you know, the people that want to protect themselves, may live in the bad area or whatever the case may be, you should be able to have your gun legally. It shouldn't be this whole big, long process. And I think the problem is a lot of people don't want guns to be readily available because they say that it'll make things more dangerous. Like I was leaving Atlanta. I came back from Phoenix and I was going a little trolley bus to the parking, and I was on the bus with some girls from Philly, and they were talking about how they don't need to have just unrestricted concealed carry or open carry because there's so much violence happening in the city of Philadelphia that it'd make things worse. But I'm like, look, you already have one of the record-breaking homicide years with tight gun laws. So how does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. What people need to do is be more responsible for their own safety. They need to have a concealed carry, take classes, get trained. But the problem is they want the police to do everything for them. They want the state to do everything for them. But at the same time, they want to say defund the police. So you got things that kind of conflict. You don't want to protect yourself. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to protect yourself. You want the police to do it, but you want to defund them. So now you got to protect yourself. So what are you going to do? The crime is still out there. The violence is still out there. Protect yourself. Get trained to get armed. Simple as that. Or you could do this. If it was me, I would say get armed, period. But if you don't want to do that and you just steadily against it, then you got to be in favor of harsher penalties, getting tougher on crime. If you out here thugging and drugging and carrying on, it can't be a revolving door of justice. You got to go to the penitentiary for a long time.
Right. And I'll be a liar if I say, because before I say what I'm about to say, I recently applied for my gun license in Pennsylvania, and I actually go next week to pick it up because with the COVID and all that going on, we can't actually go in person anymore. We actually have to apply online and schedule an appointment to go pick up the license. So, but I'd be lying if I say that I don't carry, man, because like you said, it's just a bad state right now. Like, I'd be a fool because I'd rather my family see me in jail than see me in a casket. It is really like a bad state right now in Philadelphia where you really can't, even in downtown, where you would expect no crime to happen, you still got people getting shot and all that. You know what I mean? Like,
that's right.
Yeah, man. So I just wanted to call and see your opinion on that. Do you ever think that we would ever get to a point where I believe Trump or something or someone was trying to like pass a law where I forgot the name of it, but the law was saying that if you have a gun license anywhere, it will apply across the whole United States. Do you feel like we will ever get to that point?
I don't know. I probably wouldn't want it to be a federal thing because if the federal government gives it to you, they could take it away all in one stroke. I wouldn't want it to be like that. It should be on a state-to-state basis. I just hope that all states kind of get on board. Or I put it to it like this. If it was a federal thing, it needs to be enshrined in the Constitution. We kind of already have that Second Amendment, but it needs to be a thing where no state can say anything else. This is what it is, and that's it. No state could come in and just try to change it.
Right.
And it couldn't be changed by the federal government either. Just like the Constitution can't be changed without a radical, process to amend it. So that's the way it should be. It should be cemented in stone to where you have the right to bear arms, period.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Because why me crossing over a bridge to New Jersey or me driving the 95 North to New York, it changes the fact that I still have a gun license.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I appreciate you answering my call, and I appreciate you answering my question.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's crazy how you could be in Philly and then go to Camden, all of a sudden you can't have a gun no more, and you can get locked up for it. And it's like they kind of set you up. It's like how you have, sometimes you got these speed traps in small communities where they know that, you might speed right there, so they try to catch you speeding. You see that a lot of times in these small towns where they're trying to raise money through tickets, but that's a different story. All right, Tariq, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man? It just kills me how people are just confused about why things are happening. Why gun laws is the way it is. I mean, look, man. All we have to do is just be simple about this, man. I mean, look, these are liberal states. I mean, these are liberal communities, liberal states, liberal-run areas. So, of course, they're going to have gun restriction laws, take away open carry things of that nature. So, what is the answer? Like, conservatives, we're always like, why is this happening? Why is that? I'm like, yo, there's one party who's actively, aggressively attacking you. Not only that, they're aggressively attacking you in the media. They're aggressively attacking you in the mainstream. And we're still in this. Well, I don't know why these things are happening. And not only that, I'm not even putting it on the liberals. Like I've always said, we got some traitorous I think that's the worst thing there in the liberals. These traitorous Republicans who only focus on Donald Trump and the Republican Party. I mean, it is amazing to me, bro. Like I'm being serious, ABL. Like sometimes I go to CNN, right? I just look at CNN on YouTube and they're still talking about Trump. Still talking about January 6th. And then check this out, bro. When I'm looking at the January 6th committee, right? Guess who is the face of the January 6th committee? Just take a wild guess.
Oh, Mitt Romney or somebody?
Cheney. See, they put these Republicans up here, and I swear, it just makes the entire Republican Party look bad, because what that does to the world, it says that you see these Trumpers and these people who vote like Trump, they're the outsiders. They're the criminals. They're the real ones. And see, we us liberals, we got these Republicans on our side, and we need to stomp them out. That's what they do. And I mean, I think about this, man. Did you hear Chris Wallace is leaving Fox News for CNN?
I did.
Traitorous. Traitor. If you even examine Chris Wallace, right? Just examine him in the Trump administration. The man was very hostile towards Trump. He's not. See, what angers me is that the liberals and these fake conservatives, they put people out here like Chris Wallace as if he's some balanced journalist. No, he was not. He was pushing that Russian nonsense, that fake nonsense that Trump colluded with Russia, or just turmoil in the Trump administration, pushing that nonsense on a conservative network. And these clowns always end up leaving because, to be honest with you, I think, and this is a lot in the conservative elite, they don't like Trump supporters. They don't like them. For some reason, I think they like the status quo. They like the status quo. To them, to be honest with you, I think they like a lot of war too. This is why Trump lost neoconservatives like Bill Kristol. You see Bill Kristol, who's quote unquote supposed to be a Republican, defected to the Democratic Party because they understood that Trump wasn't about invading other countries, occupying other countries, telling what to do. No, he was like, no, look, we should have an American first agenda. So the thing is, like, I just wish so the right and conservative side, we got to keep our eye on the ball. Like, we have to stop acting so confused about what is going on. It's just like liberals, if you look at liberals, they are confused. They tell each other, you know what? Your problem is those racist right wingers, especially if you're a white man. They said that is your problem. They don't beat around the bush and ask why things are happening. They have an answer. The conservatives, it's like we don't have an answer. We're still calling in and scratching our heads. It's like, come on, get on the ball. 2022 is coming. You know what I'm saying? We need to take over this House and we need to take over this Senate. And we also need to have strategies on, like I said, beating the heck out of Liz Cheney. And I'm not saying physically, because I want no one to listen to the show and them saying, I'm talking about beating her and making sure that she loses so bad, not by a small margin. It's got to be a wide margin to send an example to all of these traitors Republicans. If you think that you're going to get in here and start bashing Donald Trump and start bashing Trump supporters, you will lose unapologetically, and you'll be excommunicated. We're going to do them like liberals, ABL. We're going to ban them from media, because you are a traitor. It's worse when someone who claims to be your friend turns on you than someone who is already your enemy, man. And that's all I got to say, bro.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, take care, man.
He's got a good point, about these right-wing elites. They don't really like Trump supporters. They a lot of people, I put it to you, like, a lot of people just want politics to be like just them. People's already been there. You go to these parties and whatnot, and you meet a lot of good people, but when you're in some of these bigger cities, it's like they want it to just be them, just like a good old boy, good old girls club. They don't really want the regular person to be involved and give their 2 cents on the whole situation. Okay, that's kind of how it is. Not all, not even a large piece, but definitely in DC. That's how DC is, for sure, 100%. And that's why a lot of these outsider guys are starting to pick up steam, because people have become tired of the status quo representing them. And as you have regular people start to get more involved in politics and start to pay more attention, they're going to look at the regular guy to represent them. That's kind of how it is. 701, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
The Anti-View. How are you doing, ABL?
I'm well. About yourself?
I'm doing well. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I feel the passion of the last caller, and that's why I asked about like the not getting emotions involved, because I feel that when I get passionate, I can get a little vocal, a little loud. But I always bring my facts. Like, I base my judgments on facts. So the definition of being, non-judgmental is really difficult with me because I feel that I base my opinions and my judgments on facts. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
So one of my little facts that I just wanted to mention, and part of the reason why I think some people do get overly emotional or passionate, because this is true. I just emailed you a thing that I found, and it's being pushed in Minnesota. There's 1,500 people with COVID that are hospitalized. And you read that and you're like, oh my gosh, no wonder we're getting locked down again. And yes, it's happening in Minnesota. You read on and you realize that there's 1,012 ICU capacity in the state, and 985 of the beds are occupied. And it's, oh my gosh. Later on, 35% of whom are COVID. 35%. Like, don't tie this had nothing to do with COVID, the ICU capacity. And then you go down later on and they even compare it to December 9th, 2020, when there was 1,538 patients being treated for coronavirus in our ICU. Well, people with my memory and my facts go, hold on, wait. There was 1,538 patients in the ICU in 2020 December, but there's only 1,012 now? So when Waltz requested $25.5 million in March of 2020 to push up capacity of the hospitals in Minnesota to get ready for COVID, and then when he pushed for another $36.6 million in November of 2021 to ramp up for this COVID, where's that money going? Because, 400 less ICUs in Minnesota, that's substantial. And he even went as far in November to tie it to like COVID racial inequality, and that's why he needed money to prepare ICUs for this, no, it's all crap. It's all lies. Everybody
Absolutely.
needs to open up their eyes.
100%. People just, and some people just don't want to do that because they've become so scared and indoctrinated by the media. They believe whatever they say, and whenever they tell them to do something, they do it because of the fear. And it's really a shame.
Oh, yeah. And I've said this before when we've talked. That's why I picked the name The Anti-View, because I go into these elderly's homes and they're watching The View, and it's nails on a chalkboard for me, because I just want to, like, Mrs. Johnson, this is a lie, and they're making you hate your family. They're making you believe that you're racist. We're the same age. I'm sure that you saw the Batman with Jim Carrey as the Riddler, and he put the thing on the people's head and he sucked their thoughts out. That's happening right now, and nobody is seeing it except for the people that are listening right now and in the chat, right?
That's right.
The other thing, to go back to the guy talking about medications and opioid addiction and that type of stuff too, and we were chatting about it in the chat. One thing everybody needs to know about is if you have a chance to talk to your primary physician, you can get a genetic test done where they do a little cheek swab on the inside of your cheek, and then you meet with a pharmacist and they say, hey, Anti-View, this whole classification of medications, your body will never metabolize correctly, so you can take all the melatonin or Ambien in the world and you will never get sleepy from it. But if you were to take, lavender or these natural things, that's how you can fight your insomnia. Or down to like what anticoagulants people should be taking or not taking, or heart medication. If you knew that, would you just throw darts at the dartboard going, oh, well, the doctor said I have diabetes and I should be taking metformin, and you throw the dart at the dartboard? I shouldn't say the medication. I'm sorry. I don't want you to get dinged.
Oh, it's all
but
good. Yeah.
If you could take the genetic test, wouldn't you like, okay, you can't take that one that starts with an M, but you can take this one that starts with a G, and then your A1C is down and you're feeling better. Instead, you're suffering for 5 years trying to find the right dose of that M one instead, and you're going through how much money are you giving these people? The doctors, the pharmacy, the pharmaceutical companies, the insurance companies that are saying that you have to start with that M medication unless you have the loophole of this genetic test. So think about your parents, or think about your family members, think about your wife, think about all you guys that are listening, what medications you are on, and all the different medications you've tried before you got to that one. Is the one that you're on right now really the right one? And has one doctor told you, oh, by the way, you can do this genetic swab, and for $250, if your insurance doesn't cover it, which mine just happened to cover most of it, then you know what you should be on. So right. I hope that you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you for the call. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
All right, let's get to some more here. You should be able to, not just take whatever is being shoved in front of you, whatever Big Pharma wants you to take. You should be able to have a discussion and be like, okay, what's best? What's the best option for me going forward? 480, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Steven from Phoenix, Arizona. How are you?
I'm well. About yourself?
I'm blessed. God bless you, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, I got a $100 PayPal donation for you. I'm going to send it, and there's a little proviso. Now, you don't have to agree to it because I like you anyway. You guys, there's only people, our only hope is people like you, some other, like Larry Elder, some other people that are out there that are willing. Fox News is just the other side of CNN. They're not going to say anything, but they got so many people confused about Fauci and these other doctors and scientists. Now, they need to get some pushback on some real deal stuff. Thalidomide babies. You know that? Are you hip to thalidomide?
I'm not.
Okay. Thalidomide was a drug that they pushed on pregnant women, I believe in the 50s. And their children were born without arms and legs like flippers. You got that?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm familiar.
Hang on. Tuskegee syphilis experiment. You down with that? You understand that, right?
Yes.
Okay. That was done by doctors and scientists and African-American doctors as well. So, and you look at, just look up advertisements that doctors and scientists did for cigarettes, for smoking. Right? You got me?
Yep, I'm with you.
Okay. So you get people like you, Larry Elder, black conservative perspective. You guys got to start putting that stuff out there, because there are people that are just listening to Fauci because he's a scientist and they believe in that. But they don't realize these scientists are just people. They'll go for the money or their power or the prestige or whatever. So the only way to get some people off of this is to let us know that they're just people, those scientists, and they've done some bad stuff in the past. And if you look up thalidomide babies and you start pressing that information out, that's something that's going to help the public. I promise. I think so anyway. Anyway, you're on PayPal, is that right?
That's right.
How do I do a PayPal? You got a website? What?
Yeah, it's on the website, anthonyblogan.com. It should be on the contact page.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you $100 PayPal tonight.
Well, thank you for that, man. I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you. You guys are the best, and you're what's going to keep this country together and going forward. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I'm going to hang up.
All right, now take care. All right, shout out to the caller. But yeah, he's right, though. I mean, the thing about it, and I always say this, you got Tuskegee, of course, and a lot of these other drugs, a lot of these experimental drugs that they target a lot of poor people, black, white, whatever, a lot of, just low-income areas. They do clinical trials. A lot of that stuff goes on. In the military, do a lot of stuff to the military as well, experimental stuff. They had the whole thing about the, the anthrax, quote-unquote, vaccine. And there was a whole big hubbub about that from about 2011, 2012, that time. So, I mean, just anybody, that's why you have a very low vaccination rate among the black community. It's not because of inaccessibility. It's free. It's everywhere. We live in cities, 90% of us, so there's always a place to go get it if we want it. So why don't we get it? It's because we don't trust it. It's because we've seen things like this happen before. You see clinical trials, things just happen. It just comes out. You're like, well, I don't know if I want that. That's not really something I'm interested in getting right now. You see, that's what we're on. And I felt the same way. I've been feeling like that. That's why I never got a flu shot in my adult life. Never had a flu shot before, ever. Last time I had any kind of shots, I was a little boy in elementary school, getting the shots that everybody gets. But I've never had any shots after that. Like no kind of vaxes or anything. Nothing of the sort. Okay, you go to the doctor and things like that to get a checkup, but you don't just get random shots in your hind parts. But anyway, I'll move on. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. 815, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Anthony. This is Jacob.
All righty, what's going on?
Not much. Just making some pasta, burgers and stuff like that, or some meat for my pasta sauce. But I wanted to make one little side note about the whole pill pushing thing, but then I want to talk about kind of a personal thing that happened with me the last day regarding the vaccine hysteria and whatnot. And I guess the point I want to make very quickly about the drugs thing is I agree they overprescribe those and they're addictive and they lied about them not being addictive and whatnot. But when you cut out all those prescriptions quickly from, people who are, and they don't have that, I feel like that might spike, the use of like heroin and like actual black market opiate, not black market, you know what I'm saying? That is more cut and more dangerous.
Well, so you're saying if they end the use of the prescription stuff?
Yeah, like if, you take an addict or even someone in a lot of pain and you just, because of, sort of social pressure to demonize those things, which they should be because, we should know these things are addictive and, it should only be prescribed in rare, they should be overprescribed like they have been in the past. I'm saying that when you cut that out, people look for another, a way to get their fix or a way for their pain to go away. And, they say, oh, look, I can get this heroin for cheaper, than I was paying for that stuff. And then that stuff is cut with fentanyl and next thing you know, everyone's dying.
Well, the problem is that they're getting fentanyl is like really big in the street right now because it's being prescribed. Like doctors are getting them hooked on it. So then they want to go get the synthetic. They want to get the fentanyl directly. Like sometimes you have straight heroin users that are on heroin, but then you have people that want to use fentanyl. Like that's because of Big Pharma interfering. Like I think my whole point behind being against drugs and especially Big Pharma is because they create this kind of situation. So now we got to deal with it where there was not an issue with synthetic heroin before. Now there is because of Big Pharma.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I feel kind of about how I feel about science almost in general. Like, I hate to be like anti-progress or whatever, but it's sort of like, the more stuff that you create, technology or drugs or whatever, the more bad things technically, or good things, but you know what I mean?
Right, no doubt.
Anyway. Like, designer drugs and all that. Anyway, but I guess I'll move on to my next point, and that is, we had Mayor Splinter on TV yesterday, who, I'm about an hour outside of Chicago, but, I guess they're bringing the whole vax mandate to Chicago, and so I guess really quickly, today I got the thing at work saying, you must disclose your vaccine status by December 31st, and so I actually applied today for, like, religious exemption, which I'm Jewish, but, like, honestly, it's more like a personal thing than like a religious thing, although, anyway, so that was interesting. And then my mom, she's, she has a compromised immune system from like she has cancer and like had, chemotherapy and all that. So I understand, like, she's in her mid 70s, so why she would be like really concerned, but it's like, she's very like forceful about like me getting the vaccine, and she doesn't want to hear like any sort of reason or like facts or even like my feelings about it. And she actually like canceled her holiday plans yesterday, and I've been kind of bummed out about it because she says she doesn't want to see me until I'm vaxxed.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit from people. It's unfortunate that it's like that, but you could blame that on the mainstream media and politicians pushing the fear in people.
Mm-hmm. So like, okay, so Judaism, I brought that up, like religious, and one of the things, is the first thing is, like, honor your mother or say father and say mother of your parents, so I don't know, like, on one hand it's like, am I being selfish, or am I being like anti what God says, or am I being like in the right because like, because of all, I'm sure, the reasons we in this crowd know about.
I mean, that's a decision you got to make for yourself as far as your religion. I can't really give you, an opinion on that because that's not my religion. So I don't know. I know it could be rough though, because you want to, if you're religious, you want to be faithful to your religion and you don't want to offend anybody. But at the same time, it's your life. You got to live it. So whatever choice you make, that's your choice. You make it for yourself, and you shouldn't make it for anyone else. I
just hate about how like it's almost so like almost Nazi, it's like fascist. It's like how, everybody's like, well, how we're being turned into like, kind of like, like we're filth or we're like dirty or, I don't know, like something like that. And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like they're turning us vaccinated against unvaccinated, like West Coast versus East Coast, black versus white. It's always got to be that,
Right, I hear you.
Well, anyway, thanks for hearing me out, and I'll let you go. But my second time on the program, so thanks for taking my call, and Merry Christmas to you.
Thanks for the call. Merry Christmas. All right. Shout out to everybody out there. If you're Jewish or whatever your religion is, Lador Vador, like Chaim, all that good stuff. I know a little bit of my yits, a little teeny bit, not too much though, so don't try to quiz me. But anyway, I digress. Let's get to the next call. If you're religious, that could be kind of rough. It could be a double-edged sword because on one hand, it keeps you kind of grounded and focused on what you got to be focused on. And if you have somebody, you got friends and family or whatever, your significant other, y'all on the same page religiously, that can help everything kind of stay together. But at the same time, it's hard to interfere. It can interfere with with what or what you want to be. It can interfere with your life in the way that you want to live it. It's weird. It's weird, so hopefully everything works out. 909, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? All right, 909. I don't know what happened. I got cold feet, or that by my phone might have broke up. But I didn't hang up on you, boss. Let's go to 605 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, ABL.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you well.
All right, great. Hi, ABL. This is Whitney. I'm from South Dakota.
All righty, what's going on?
So I guess COVID's kind of been the topic tonight, or the vaccine, the ouchie, you should call it. It's been the topic tonight. I thought about calling. I listened to your streams, not always live, just because, got that, have that mom life, just being an adult, things of that nature. So I always keep like a mental list of all these things I want to, potentially call in about. But I guess today it's COVID. But anyway, I'll get to the point. But I don't understand this psychoticness people have about this particular vaccine. Like, I literally just had a conversation with a friend of mine, 15 minutes ago. And, we were literally yelling at each other, and then, we calmed down, disagree to disagree. But, the anti-G, I get very passionate, I get loud, and not trying to be, I just, So, the end of the conversation, but, literally, she literally, agrees with me that, even with the vaccine, you can still either spread it and get it, but you still need to get the vaccine. And I'm like, okay, so you're allowed to walk around and spread COVID, but nobody else is because they don't have the vaccine? That doesn't make any sense. And she literally agreed with it. So, I don't understand. Some of these people, I really just think that they're just, I don't know, really, are they really stupid? Are they really that dumb? Are they psychotic? Or is it both? I don't brainwash. I can't figure it out anymore. What do you think it is?
So what's your question? Because there was a lot there.
I know. I'm sorry.
That's all good. But I think you're trying to say that people are just kind of weird, and it's is it me or is it them? Is that your question basically?
Yeah, I'm in South Dakota, so we're but I'm also in Sioux Falls. Okay, that's the largest city. It seems the state's obviously mainly red, obviously, but it's still a city, so I see a lot of my neighbors are, liberals and stuff like that. But even so, people are just, even here, people are kind of nuts, and that's without any mandates. We ain't got nothing here. We're free open. But
yeah, some people are just going to be kind of weird. They're going to be their own thing, and you can't really do much about it. You're doing right. So it's not just you losing your marbles, going crazy. You're doing the right thing. Others just don't have all their ducks in a row. That's the problem.
But it's only this vaccine. It's okay, well, you know what I mean? It's the mass hysteria, we need to know whether or not you have it. It's mandated at this job, but not, I don't get it. It's just crazy to me.
No, I hear you.
And I don't understand why it, natural immunity to people is just not a thing. It's just apparently not real, or they just don't want to talk about it. And I don't get it. They get mad. My friend got mad today because I brought it up. I said, "What about natural immunity?" Well, that goes away. I'm so too. Isn't I don't get it.
Yeah, people, they've been brainwashed effectively by the mainstream media and the politicians. That's all. They're watching TV, and whatever they see, they believe. And if you say anything to the contrary, they don't really want to hear it. So at a certain point, it's really no purpose. At a certain point, there's no purpose in really trying to talk to people like that. You can, like somebody said in the chat, you could plant little seeds. And I say that all the time when I say, if you're having an argument with somebody and it's not really working, or if they're going to be combative and you already know it, just say little stuff. Don't try to engage them dead on, because if you engage them dead on, then it's like a fight. It's like you're trying to aggress upon them. Just say little stuff and don't really get into it. Just plant it, and if it grows, it grows.
Right.
If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right, for sure. Right. there's a coworker of mine. I literally drew the line with him. I was like, no, I cannot talk to you about anything politics. I just can't. Like I literally want to stab him in the eye, and I don't like feeling like that. Like I like to be happy, and not be violent, So I'm just like, it's just bad, that we just don't talk about things like this, like it's better for my blood pressure that way.
Right, I hear you.
But also one quick other thing, I don't know if you heard this, but my youngest son is in the Head Start program. He has he's autistic, so he just needs a little bit of extra help, whatever. Anyway, 2 weeks ago, I got a letter from the Sioux Falls School District, and the Biden administration has now mandated that all students and staff a part of the Head Start program are required to wear masks at all times. And I'm sure the children in the Head Start program are 3 and 5-year-olds. They're toddlers. And they are now being forced to wear masks again. And I decided I'd pull my son from the program. And I'm going to go look into something else. I have a couple options here in where I live, but I just, my son is not a pseudoscience experiment.
I got you.
And you know what I mean? And it's, what's, interesting about that ABL is that, I'm a mom of 5. All of my kids go to the same school, right?
Right.
Because my kids' school, they have the Head Start program in the school. And it's only the Head Start teachers and the children that have to wear the mask in the building. That's it. Does that make any sense to you?
None of it makes the whole thing doesn't make any sense at this point. People they're just doing random things just because they think that it might work, but ultimately none of it makes a difference. The masks don't work. The vax, I don't know nothing about that. Is that even really a real thing? Well, Omicron isn't even effective. I think all of it is just dumb. And I think at a certain point, we're going to get back to normal and away from all this nonsense that is really not doing as much of a good job. But thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
Thank you. You have a good Merry Christmas, ABL. Thank you for taking my call.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, shout out to her. All right, let's get to a few more. I got some time. Let's go to. All right, let's try. Hold on. The calls are coming in fast and furious. I'm trying to get people that haven't been able to get on. Let's go. 561. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL.
Yes, sir. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, this is Ron from Florida. Not the governor, though. But I just want to tell you that you are a hero. You and Brandon and Candace, I'm convinced you're the ones that are in Trump, are the ones that are going to save our country. And I truly love you because of what you're doing. And we need to clone 150 million males of you and 150 million females of you. I really wish, I'm just so impressed with you. I'm about 15 years older than you. Last week when you were talking about when Tim Cast and the other guy got into the fight, the way you were analyzing it, the way you were talking, this is the way male behavior. I mean, this is the way, these are things, you were just so precise and so accurate. And I know, you don't have a PhD in psychology, and you were breaking it down better than any of those useful idiots, they're called, people who are overeducated. So, I mean, that was just an example to me of you just being so smart and so in tune and so reasonable and so logical. You are just such a pleasure to listen to. And there was a time I just wondered, do you ever come to the Blexit events? Do you come to the Blexit events?
I do, yes.
Oh, okay. Because there was a Blexit event in South Florida before COVID, and I was literally standing with Brandon Tatum, Officer Tatum, but I didn't know really who he was. This was, prior to COVID, and so he wasn't. I mean, I would have loved. I could have just talked to him for an hour, but we weren't at that stage. I didn't know about all that he says and all that he does, and so it just that I had that moment with him. But one last thing I just wanted to say to you. I knocked on 5,000 doors for Trump, okay, in the South Florida area. And I love him. I think he's a hero just like I think you are a hero, just doing what he did. And, you get people saying, what about 2024? And you're very smart. You're very precise. One of the things you say is about his age. And we love him. We don't want him to be 80 years old and going through this. But one of the other things that I found with all my door knocking is that 20% of the people in the middle class area, Boca Raton, that I would talk to, they would be like, get the F off my porch, he's a criminal. And these are middle class people from New York, a lot of Northeasterners.
Yeah.
And I just said that, and I'd say Middle East peace treaties, 3% unemployment, getting rid of ISIS, oh no, none of that. And so my feeling, and you can say this to your callers, is like, look, somehow the media demonized this guy. They made him out to be Hitler. And you say, well, where's the concentration camps? No, he's Hitler. And so I don't care if gas is $6 a gallon and we have illegals running everywhere and all. Those people are not going to vote for Trump because, they would say to me, oh, he's going to grab me by the pee, like from that tape in 2013. I say, ma'am, I would pull, like you, I'd step back and say, ma'am, I promise you don't have to marry him. I promise you don't have to marry him. But anyways, so I just want you to, to know that we love him, but they have demonized him. And DeSantis, who I think would be terrific, is they don't have a tape on him. They don't have a 40-year history of him like they do on Trump. Oh, Trump didn't pay the painter in 1982. Oh, okay. Well, that has no effect on us as a country now. So I just wanted to give you that suggestion because you're very, obviously, as I say, you're very well thought out, and that's a problem with that. They're not going to vote for him no matter what, and we need to win in 2024. We got to get a conservative in there, like a DeSantis. I mean, he would be number one. And so I think that's a real problem because they're not, as I said, they're not going to vote for Trump. I don't care what condition the country's in because they demonize him. And they'll cheat on him too, like they did because they say, well, he's Hitler and we can't have Hitler. So it's okay to cheat on voting,
Right.
So
exactly.
Anyways, I hope you come down to Fort Lauderdale sometime or South Florida. I would love to meet you. I'd love to shake your hand and just, look you eye to eye. And thank you for all you do personally. Do you have any plans, like when you're going to write that book? Will you come to South Florida?
I believe I will. I'll do a lot more traveling here pretty soon. So, South Florida, that'd be on the list. I definitely go to South Florida.
Okay. It's a terrific place. So thank you again. Know we're out here pushing, we appreciate you. And by the way, just one last thing. I'm sorry you said that you get some people who are, say, anti-racist things to you. If that's really true, they're not conservatives. They're liberal. So just you've got a very thick skin, and obviously you go on with it. We love you out here. Okay.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
And I want your wife to be jealous, but we love you too.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah. I'll do a lot more traveling here. Go back to South Florida. That'd be good. I was in Miami a couple years ago, I think. It was cool. Well, not cool, literally. The humidity was off the charts. But yeah, I definitely go back for sure. All right. Let's get to a few more here. Wow. I got time for one more. It's almost time to end. All right, let's try. Y'all hang tight. I'm gonna try to get somebody that hasn't been on. Okay, y'all please bear with me. Let's go to. All right, hold on. Okay, let's do this. 503 on the line. Who am I speaking to? 503. Hello. All right, 503. You gotta be ready to roll. You can't be no cold feet now. Okay, 316, you on the line, who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. How are you doing, man?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Good, good. I'm calling from the Netherlands. I've spoken to you about 2 times before. So it's very nice to hear your voice again. I just wanted to say that I was very relieved that about the verdict for Kyle Rittenhouse. I was very happy to see it. I watched it live on the live stream here in the Netherlands, and it was awesome to see it, man. It was really awesome to see it.
Oh, definitely, absolutely.
It's great. Yeah, and also just right after the verdict, Tucker Carlson also had the interview with him and everything like that, and he also spoke at another Fox Fest or something like that. He's a pretty cool guy. And I really like how he handled it all, man. It was very good. I just wanted to say something about what's happening here in the Netherlands. It's very sad that about a week ago, the country went into a full lockdown. So only like the grocery store is open and a pharmacy and that's it practically. So shops and small businesses have bought all supplies and all sort of things for people, and they can't sell their stuff because the shops are all closed. It's very, very sad. All because of the Omicron variant. It's so stupid here.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's say that the Omicron variant is not as bad, it's much more mild, but yet they're shutting things down. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to shut things down anyway, but especially not for a variant that's less lethal and more mild.
Yeah, it's very mild. Well, okay, we have a little guess how many ICU beds we have in the Netherlands? We have 17 million people. So how many ICU beds do you think we have?
I have no idea.
All right. So how many did they say they have in Minnesota? It was like 1,500 or something?
Yeah, 1,500, I think.
Okay, all right. So for the whole of the Netherlands, I believe we have about 2,700.
Wow, really?
Yep. So, and they are scared to death because of a variant, and they don't know anything, and they don't do the research. I guess it's really so stupid. They closed everything down. It's until January 10th, the 10th, I believe. But yeah, we have very small ICU capacity, and in the 2 years they haven't built up any new capacity, and we have a shortage of ICU personnel. So it's also very sad. And for all the shops that have bought supplies and everything, they can't sell their stuff. Everything is closed. It's terrible. It's harsh, man. It's harsh. Yeah, and I wanted to say some last thing. So the last time we spoke, it's really like 8 months ago or something. I asked you if you wanted to might ask the panel. You are on Tatum show tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right. So maybe if you want to. So I said the last time I called, if Trump decides not to run, and I hope he does run, but if he decides not to run and DeSantis goes for president, what about if Trump goes for the governorship of Florida? Because that's maybe an option, because I like to see Trump run again. But yeah, circumstances, age and everything. I would like to know what the panel thinks about that, because some people say that the governor is better off being the governor for all of the governors, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's a good question to ask, but I'm not really sure that Trump want to do that, because I think Trump wants to be the guy. He doesn't want to go backward.
Of course,
right?
Of course. But
yeah.
the idea is maybe. I'm very curious about what the panel maybe thinks about that option, even though I think Trump wouldn't do that. But I'm very curious about what the panel thinks about that option, because I've never heard it anywhere else suggested before.
That's a good question. That's definitely a good question to ask.
Yeah, because people always say like, yeah, DeSantis needs to be the governor for all governors, and I get that, of course. He's very good in what he does, and Trump, I think he's going to run. And I hope so. But if he doesn't run for governor and DeSantis is more like, yeah, I want to stay also for governor here, but I don't know. Maybe Trump can take that mantle and DeSantis goes for president. I really, really would hope you ask that on the panel tomorrow. It would be very nice if you do.
All right, well, thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
ABL, have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'll speak to you soon, man.
I know. Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. But that will be a wrap for the calls tonight. If you couldn't get on, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. Please blame the white man. But that'll be a wrap for the calls and a wrap for the show. Thank you guys for being here. You're the best audience anywhere on the internet. If I don't see you on Christmas Day, if I'm not streaming, Merry Christmas right now. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the festivities. Enjoy the gifts and the food and all that good stuff. Enjoy the time. Merry Christmas. And thank you to the mods for doing what you do. You guys do a great job all the time, keeping them trolls in check, keeping everything in line the way it's supposed to be. And what else we got? Super chats. Oh, and also rest in peace to David Carroll. You guys may or may not know who that is. He's a YouTuber, black guy, conservative a little bit, but not really. A lot of guys that I know, like O'Shea Duke Jackson and a lot of people, they kind of were familiar with his content early on. He has some really crazy stuff, some really crazy videos, like a few years ago especially. And I watched his videos like right around the time when I first started, like when I was first getting into YouTube and really trying to find my way and find out who I was really, because I was looking for people that I could kind of relate to that were conservative. I was trying to find a guy like me. And in my search, I found David Carroll. So he passed away. I think he was in his mid-50s. So may he rest in peace. Very unfortunate that he died. But I wanted to acknowledge him because a lot of us on YouTube, especially on like the quote-unquote black conservative side, we saw a lot of his videos early on, like probably like 2015, 2014, right around that time. So yeah, RIP David Carroll. All right. Now we got super chats on deck. I'm going to read those right quick and then I wrap it on up, put the bowl clean on top. Thank you to Elaborate Bulls who says, great show, ABL. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. 57 years old. That's how old he was. Yeah, RIP 57. Too young. Thank you to Santo Bartes who says, Merry Christmas to you and your family. And Merry Christmas to the best chats on the internet. 100%. Shout out to Tyrone Mr. Conservative who says, mandates keep them in power. Will not comply. Absolutely. Thank you to Stavros Serentopoulos who says, ABL, great show. Vaccinated people that infect each other will continue to create new variants. I think I already read that one. Now people are asking me, how did he die? I have no idea. All I know is that he passed. I think his sister put it on his Facebook page. So I don't know about the cause or any circumstances or whatnot, but it's been verified. Like a lot of the big guys that I know, Misanthropic, one, shout out to you, man. I saw your video. He said it, and a lot of other guys were saying it. So yeah, we confirmed it, unfortunately. But again, I don't know what happened. So I'll move along here. Thank you to, let's go ahead a little bit. Thank you to Flex 10 Man who said keep up the good fight. Will do. Joe Ryder 84 says, ABL, would you bring your wife on the show? How does she feel about conservatism? She would stay in the background. I probably wouldn't have her on the show. If she wanted to, I would. It wouldn't be no problem, but she likes to stay in the background. She's conservative more than I am. Like, people think that I'm like, not you guys, but a lot of people just that have not really seen conservatives before, they think I'm like this extremist person. I'm like mild. I'm like kind of soft compared to people that I know that are conservative for real. Okay. So I'm like, she's more conservative than me. Put it to you that way. I think it's Labrador Bulls who says, ABL, just wanted to let you know the other day my internet went out and for the first time I, quote, blamed the white man. Merry Christmas. Thank you for that. Merry Christmas. San Diego Varsity Sports says, which one would you pick? 70s classic movies, Enter the Dragon, The Warriors, or Shaft? And would you go to Jesse Lee Peterson? Great show. To answer your last question first, I would go on Jesse Lee Peterson show for sure. I could go in there. I'm just not sure if I'm ready. But I would go in there for sure. And out of those movies you listed, Enter the Dragon, The Warriors, or Shaft, I'd probably say The Warriors. Come out and play? Yeah, definitely The Warriors. Thank you to Butt vs. Windshield who says, Merry Christmas. Hey, strangest story of the year, hands down. The monkey dog war in India. It's real. Look it up. I may have to see that. Monkey dog war. Now, wait a minute. I think I saw that. Well, I didn't actually see it. But I saw a headline. I didn't know if it was real or what. So apparently a bunch of monkeys dropped like 200 puppies from the sky. Like, or from trees. They had a bunch of puppies in the trees and they dropped them from the trees. Wait a minute. Okay, let me just find this right quick. Okay. They dropped like 200 puppies from the. Okay. Okay, let's put this article up. This is on Vice. Okay. Monkeys go on a killing spree by fatally dropping 250 puppies from trees. What? How do you drop a puppy from a tree? In a bizarre case that has bewildered many, the villagers reported a series of monkey attacks that killed 250 puppies in the Bede district of the Indian state of Maharashtra. A bunch of M's and S's and R's and T's and whatnot. According to media reports, the jaguar monkeys have been catching puppies and dropping them to their deaths from considerable heights, such as from the tops of trees and buildings in the Magalagon town and neighboring Laval village. Following the attacks, residents of Laval village say there are no longer any puppies left in the village. One resident, Sadaram Nibal, broke his leg while trying to rescue his puppy from a monkey. He is currently undergoing treatment. Is this real? Really? Like, wait a minute. Okay, it's on Vice, and it looks like a pretty serious article, and I'm seeing it everywhere. Independent, the Tribune. This is a real thing. India, y'all scary. I'm not going there. I'm not trying to get kidnapped by a monkey and dropped from a tree. I'm good. We're next. Exactly, NKM. We're next. It's going to be us next. It's going to be them chimpanzees or gorillas or whatever getting us human beings in the tree and dropping us. Like, man, we tired of y'all humans, man. Y'all doing too much. It's over. Then you got Planet of the Apes in real life. So let's not have that happen. Okay. This was in India. This is in India where this happened. So shout out to all the monkeys. Hey, man, don't kill no more puppies, man. That's not really good. But anyway, I think it's Joe Wright 84 says David Carroll died. Yes, he did die, unfortunately. Thank you to Buffalo Windshield who says endemic Omicron is a variant that always happens when the virus runs out of steam. Big Pharma is going to push harder now that the end is coming. Exactly. They're trying to squeeze that money out. Squeeze that money. Let's not have it happen. Thank you to Max Dominguez who says Merry Christmas to you and the family ABL. Thank you for that. Thank you to Slyn Dorella Charming for the thank you emoji. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to Loco Valdez, a.k.a. Richard McCarthy, who says, Trump beat Hillary, showed what can be done right, and exposed evil. That's plenty. 100%. Thank you for your donation, Big Baller. I appreciate you. Shout out to NMAT for the donation, the emoji, the Cup of Joe. Thank you to Atomic Tabasco, who says, ABL and everyone, Merry Christmas. Thank you to Chelsea Bruck, who says, I fell down my stairs and broke my tibia 2 weeks ago. Had surgery, now on bed rest. Your shows help. If you need a mod, let me know. Nothing else to do. Thanks, ABL. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. And get well soon. Let that tibia get healed up. And thank you to Chelsea as well, who says, I didn't get to say Merry Christmas, ABL, in chat. Oh, great super chat to end it on up. Merry Christmas to you guys. If I don't see you on Christmas Day, Merry Christmas. I got one more super chat here. Then I wrap it on up, put a bow on top. Christy37725 says, Merry Christmas, ABL. Thank you for all you do. Quick question. Do you think the Supreme Court will find the shot mandates to be unconstitutional? That's a good question. They may, because you're mandating the shot. It's one thing to offer it, yes. But to mandate I put something in my body, that shouldn't be a mandate. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. This is going to be kind of a landmark thing. If they rule it unconstitutional, it's going to be a wrap. Thank you to Angel and Marty who says, Merry Christmas. Hope you stream on Christmas, ABO. I may. You guys never know. I'll see what's going on, but that'll be a wrap for me. You guys have been great as always. I may see you guys live on Saturday, maybe not, but I will be live tomorrow on Brandon Tatum's channel, on Officer Tatum channel at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as usual. And also, we'll be live the next week on whatever that day is. But we'll see each other soon. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.